Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 3 of season number 5 as we take in the Singapore Grand Prix from, of course, the capital, which is Singapore. My name is James Heard. I'm going to be taking the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Tuesday evening. Joining me in the commentary box is the one and only Jota himself. We'll get to him in a second, but we are going straight into the action because one-shot qualifying is beckoning. And Jota, first of all, how are you doing? And second of all, it's good to see these guys in F1 24 cars.
Yeah, hello there, folks. Nice to be alongside you for this one here in Singapore. Yeah, very nice to have the guys back in the usual F1 cars 30 seconds before we get going. It makes it a lot easier to organise the sessions, doesn't it, James? But yeah, it's going to be fun. We're back here in Singapore again. It's always a challenge. Plenty of drivers out on the field that are usually a bit stronger around here. So we're expecting some really close competition, though, towards the front. Will it be as close, though, as last week as we get into the sprint qualifying?
Yeah, straight into the sprint qualifying, so we have to literally roll in the adverts just quickly. Thanks to the guys for ready up pretty much on time. But we are going to get going for one-shot qualifying right now, and we are going to ride on board, it seems, with the MVR Manor Quantum now coming through the final corner. Of course, everyone will be on a set of soft compound attire for this lap, and let's ride on board then with Quantum down in toward the left-hander of turn number 1. Through the right, flicking it right through turn 2, then through the left-hander now of turn number 3. Marina Bay Street Circuit looking absolutely lovely, I've got to say, with the graphics on this game. Now coming in toward the right-hander of turn number 5, and on towards Raffles Boulevard we go with Quantum, and as you can see, he's right down toward the bottom end of the field, which means I'm going to flick on board with the man currently sitting in P1 right now, which is Flopman, and it's a 25.8 from Flopman through the first sector, but he's gone very wide there through turn 7 at Memorial Corner now, in toward the right-hander of turn number 8, and then toward the left-hander of turn number 9 in Penang. It is one-shot qualifying, and then it's a 50% sprint. We'll run through the format in due course, but Flopman coming down in toward the Singapore Sling, right on terms, I think, with Joe Murphy. Rens Thomason is also up there, along with Enzo Rayan and Ogween. So the real guys that we expect to be up there in Singapore are up there as Flopman now comes through the left-hander. Now turn number 13 on the run towards turn number 14, when we saw many an overtake in real life, of course, around here. And it's a 101.3 from Flopman in that middle sector, and we'll see what Flopman can do now coming through the new part of the circuit. Through the left-hander now of turn number 15, and then in towards the first of the 2 chicanes, into 16 and 17 we go. Hard on the brakes with that DRS zone, the 4th DRS zone, of course, within this game cycle for this track. And now Flopman comes into all the left-hander turn 18 and 19 on the run to line, and Flopman goes quickest by, I think that was 0.02 of a second, that might have been. We'll confirm that in due course, but Flopman has just about got pole position, and in turn, the gap to the top,
Wow.
0.02 of a second between him and Joe Murphy, who won, of course, around here last season.
Yeah, the fake Venezuelan just missing out actually on Flopman by just a very small margin. And 69 thousandths of a second behind Nice between Rens Thomason as well and pole position. So in that scenario, 3 people within a tenth of each other for pole. It's going to make for a very interesting sprint race. 11 laps ahead of us.
It is indeed. Hopefully I've just fixed the audio there on my side as well. Flopman the Wad on top, Joe Murphy second, then Rens, Enzo, Luke Rapata, PSF1 champion, of course, and PSGL in 5th. Rayan, Ogween, Gavano, Thomas, and Jeslar rounding off the top 10. Dare not go through the bottom half of the field because I'm not that quick going through the field in terms of the bottom half of the racing. But coming into tonight, before we do get going out on track for the sprint race, for 11 laps of the sprint, let's have a look at what happened, of course, last week and how the standings are coming into tonight. And I'll do this very quickly before we do get going. Top Tier Motorsports still holding their lead, 77 points over Team Shazoo on 72. BRT, however, in third on 61. The big gainers, they've got a 3-place grid penalty along with MVR Quantum. Then it's Novus Racing in 4th on 48. Speaking of Quantum there with NVR in 4th. Tatum Racing Team TRT in 5th on 42. CPI in 6th on 41. And then Team TF10 in 7th on 38. ET8 all the way down in 8th position right now on 15. Avesio in 9th on 13. And then FRT in 10th on 5 points. And looking through those standings, and now flick back to the action, just in case we miss anything. Looking at that standings, though, fantastic driving out on track by Team Shazoo, really gaining points over TTM last week.
Yeah, they needed that as well, to be fair. I think over the back of what was actually a poor qualifying performance as well from Shazoo, but they actually made it work and developed their race strategy a little bit. TTM a little bit on the back foot, but maintaining the championship lead at the moment, and 1st and 4th in this sprint race, immediately suggesting they are back on track to try and hold on to the championship lead. But of course, BRT hot on the heels with Joe Murphy as well. He is flying in second with only that 0.02 of a second gap. And a little bit of a shock towards the back, though. Gabba starting from the back after invalidating his lap, I believe. So Gabba, a very quick driver in Novus Racing, will be starting at the back and is well out of position as well to the rest of the field, of course, because the other Haas driver of Quantum only in 14th as well. So Novus struggling initially out the blocks.
Definitely. So it's going to be interesting, I think, as well, add on track to see how, of course, these guys get on track in terms of the strategy. For the sprint race, I would expect drivers to start on a medium compounder tyre rather than a set of softs. Might be completely and utterly wrong with that, but the set of soft compounder tyres do not last well around this track, if my mind is correct. And on that set of soft compounder tyre, they wear at about 5 or 6% a lap. So they do go off very quick compared to guys on a set of medium compounder tyres. Most of the drivers I would expect to be selecting the mediums. I can certainly see an Enzo shot right now in his pit box that it is a set of medium compounder tyres for the Frenchman for TTM. So we'll see how he gets on, of course, out on track, along with the 19 other cars that are going to be fighting for the race win here tonight in the sprint. Not only that, we have an intermission. We go for a little bit of a break, and then we're back into short qualifying, 18 minutes worth in length, and then a full 50% race for you guys at home. Hopefully it won't take too long, judging by how long they're lasted in terms of this break that they're having to get their setups on. And speaking of which, 5 red lights about to go out here in Singapore. Round number 3 of the championship for the sprint is about to begin, and it is... Lights out, away we go. Joe Murphy gets a better start than Flopman. Is going to pull alongside. Down in towards turn number 1. Flopman, though, on the outside line, holds the lead. Through turn number 1. Renz Thomason there in third. Enzo there in fourth, running behind. Luke Patter under pressure there from Rayen. There's already a spinner further down the field. That's Lafiti in the wall. Coming through the right-hander there of turn number 2, I think. Everyone, as I say, on a set of medium compounder tyres. Nobody going on a set of softs. Jeslo making a move on Casper Flack, his ex-teammate, of course, formerly of CPI. They're down in 12th position. But Flopman leads the way down Raffles Boulevard for the first time. Joe Murphy in second, Ren's there in third.
Yeah, not too bad of a start from TTM. Holding the first and fourth. Joe Murphy not initially able to put the pressure on first place. A bad second stint actually, going out of the pit of the boxes. They just didn't find the pressure to get in there. And Renz Thomason just squeezed off, and he remains in third.
He does remain in third. Joe Murphy all over pressure on the back of Floatman, and Gabor is in the wall. Gabor is in the wall, I think, through the Singapore sling. Remember, we haven't told you this. There's no safety car, of course, within the sprint race. So that is Gabor out of the race. That is him done. Joe Murphy right on the back though, Flopman. Coming through the right-hander now, turn number 14 to pretty much end the first lap. And now come through this new king of turn 15, passing the old grandstand and the old chicane on the right-hand side of the track with buildings now, the Marina Bay getting redone, of course, in real life. Joe Murphy, though, all over the back of Flopman, leading the way, the Frenchman currently. Fake Venezuelan there in second, and then Renz Thomason, who is very quick around this track. They're down in third, Enzo there in fourth. So a great start from TTM. Most positions gained, though, however, early on. Further down the field, Quantum gaining 2, Simbarox gaining 1, Lafiti the big loser after that spin through turn number 1, and he's down 4 positions right down the back of the field as Renz Thomason, Renz Thomason Jotter is right on the back of Joe Murphy.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on at the moment. Simbarox one actually getting the single point available at the end of this one. Of course, remember the top 10 score points, 12 points all the way down to 1, as we've got some change of position happening between Fede, and George Ansel, but pressure between Fraser and Gian at the moment as well. This is for P15. Really good racing between the pair later on the brakes, and very well taken from the TRT man.
Yep, Ferrari man through on the McLaren, nearly hitting the wall like Norris did, of course, around here in Singapore in real life, really clipping the wall down the right-hand side curb through turn number 8 to Penang. Flopman, though, leading the way early on from Joe Murphy there in second, Renz Thomason there in third. Joe asking in the chat, where is FRA? Sadly, Otis Lawrence and the likes are not here from Season 1, but we have got the likes of FRT, of course, racing here tonight, and I know he is just trying to wind us up in the commentary box there, is our Team Chazoo admin. But Flopman out on top, Joe Murphy in second, Renz Thomason there in third. Up the front end of the field, there's nothing really happening right now. Everyone's in a big old DRS train. Joe Murphy's got 54% of DRS. Flopman's got 51, so pretty level pegging. Renz is doing them by about 5% right now. He's got about 5% more than Flopman and Joe Murphy combined. So this is going to be to the liking, I think, of the man in the Aston Martin and the man who seriously needs to give E8 some points.
of real front-end grip at the moment on Rayen for the TF10 man in P6 at the moment, chucking the car through the first sector, and he's just got so much grip on the front end, so that's allowing him to potentially put a little bit of pressure here on Luca. That's the Alpine belonging to Team Shazoo, but no attempt at any kind of overtake at the moment as the DRS train starts to form. So I end this particular anecdote with the question of where's Jarno?
Where is Jonah? Where is Gian, though? He's making his way through the field up into 14th. Casper Flack there down in 15th. And TLT also making moves with Fetty. Has he got right side end plate damage, Fetty, on the right-hand side of the car? No. Just, I think, me getting used. Oh, and that is a hit in the wall from Fraser. If that's not foot wing damage, then I'm Mahatma Gandhi. And he has got right side end plate damage on that front wing. So Fraser there in trouble. He's going to be an absolute slow coach behind the PSGL resident slow coach of this season and George Ansell. Oh, I've done it bad there. I've got to be honest. In 18th position. He was in the points last night, of course, in Brazil. So he definitely needs to try and find a few positions here. Joe Murphy, though, on the back of Flopman for the first time. Not really hounding the back of the Red Bull.
Yeah, he's at the moment, speaking of the Red Bull, actually, Flopman able to hold his own, no issue at all at the moment. Joe Murphy just keeping the pressure. Oh, losing the rear ever so slightly, though, Flopman. So he's obviously feeling the pressure at the moment from the fake Venezuelan. But I tell you what, Gandhi is doing the best he can to remain in P1.
He is definitely indeed. Flopman is all over the place. Coming through the left-hander there, turn number 1 and 2. Joe Murphy, though, doesn't seem to have much front-end grip as Jeslo gets that 3-second penalty for, I think, running wide through turn number 1, if I'm not mistaken. But Joe Murphy better get set his sight with Rens Thomason right in behind as well. The glowing figures there of the Singapore skyline as they come now through Raffles Boulevard once again into Memorial Corner at turn number 7. Everyone going great guns so far out on track. There's nothing really happening, unlike last year's Singapore sprint race, of course. And that was an absolute chaos. And that was the first time we ever had a sprint, of course, around here in Singapore in season number 4 or season 3. One of the 2 seasons that we've covered, of course, in the past here. But Flopman leading the way. Joe Murphy in second. Joe Murphy, though, getting very close to the wall coming across the Anderson Bridge.
Yeah, Flopman, though, getting very close himself as well. He's really at the limit of that Red Bull at the moment. It begs the question, as these mediums start to wear down, is Flopman going to be able to maintain the level of speed that he's currently got at the moment? And you can see he's definitely pushing a little bit more as well. 20% less ERS versus Joe Murphy. So I have a sneaky suspicion Flopman is pushing that little bit harder to remain in P1 at the moment. And I think he's starting to find out now that the tyres are not going to be at their best this early on. Rear end still being unstable, but just holding on to first place. TTM under pressure.
Typical mentioning there in the chat that he really wants to be on the world roster, even though he's had a lot of tough races recently. FLT man has done quite well in EML. I've actually covered EML, the team event, and that's of course on tomorrow night. If you do want to catch FRT there, you can do. Fraser, though, was retired in the pit lane, and Rens Thomason makes a huge mistake. Coming through the right-hand return number 5, car completely sideways, coming out of the corner. Enzo on the front foot, on the back of him. He's not going to be close enough, though, for the move, but Rens Thomason, little bit of a cold brown moment there for the man MP3 as a side-by-side for the down the field. Freddy and Casper Flack side-by-side, and Freddy through and he's into 15th position. Remember, with the sprint points, if you're not familiar with how the sprint works, it is 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I think.
Yeah, perfect. So that's 12 points to the winner, all the way down to 1 point in 10th place. That last point still going to FRT at the moment as well. FRT need every point they can get as well in that battle at the lower end of the midfield. Keep an eye out on Flopman as well. 6 laps to go in this race. The laps are flying by. And again, he's not finding sort of levels of comfort out there at the moment. He is pushing very, very hard. He's actually somewhere in the region of 30% in deficit in ERS at the moment. It was 20% on the previous lap. So Flopman is pushing harder, whereas at the moment, Joe Murphy really isn't pushing that hard and keeping to the back of the Red Bull. Absolutely no issue at all. 5 laps to go as they cross the line.
Would you be able to try and get Quantum, by the way, back in the session? Because he has just left the session. My invites don't work from my end. And I'd rather you see these guys fighting out for the battle for P1 right now. Flopman leading the way from Joe Murphy in second, Rens Thomason there in third. I'm going to be honest though, at this stage in the race, Rens Thomason is all over the back of Joe Murphy. Joe Murphy in turn is not really on the back of Flopman. So I think the man in P3 right now is the one to be on board with. Rens Thomason eyeing up a move. Joe Murphy now eyeing up a move on the outside line in towards turn number 7. Flopman nearly puts him in the wall and the Frenchman just about hangs on. But now the Brit has to try and fight back to the inside line of turn number 8. Doesn't make the move stick. And Rens Thomason there in third, lapping that up, thinking, go on, Flopman, force him in the wall a little bit more. These 2 positions are mine.
Yeah, 20% the deficit, and Flotman knows it. He's gone straight into none, and you can see if you got on board with Joe Murphy, the red light blinking at the back. He's harvesting energy left, right, and centre at the moment because he knows that he's in a massive deficit versus Joe Murphy, so he's trying his hardest to maintain the gap. But as you can tell, Joe Murphy is willing to get a move done.
He is indeed, and Joe Murphy really wants to try and get this move done. We're only on lap 6 out of 11. The roll call currently is Flotman leading the way. Joe Murphy there in second, Renz Thomason there in third, then it's Enzo, Luke Rapata, Rayen, Ogween, Gavano, Thomas, and Simberbox top 10. Then it's Jeslar, Rain, who's off the back of this train, by the way, as well.
Wow.
That rhymes. Guillen there in 13th, then Freddy, Quantum 14th, 15th, Casper Flack, George Ansel, and Lafiti right on the back of the field. As you spy, I think Rayen on the back of Luke Rapata in the background.
No, not on this one. Joe Murphy losing the rear ever so slightly. A bit of uncharacteristic behaviour from Joe Murphy as he's pushed a little bit too hard, losing the rear ever so slightly. And Flotman puts it into none again to try and harvest as much energy as he can. But Joe Murphy has still got a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the ERS. Deficit still in against Flotman. Is he going to use overtake? He is. He's going to try and use it. He's going to defend from Renz, but Renz is also using overtake as well. He's going to have to go down the inside line, and he tries to defend it, and they'll hold on for P1, 2, and 3 as it currently stands. It's still very much up in the air about who's going to be in there, but Renz Thomason putting pressure on Joe Murphy is actually causing the less deficit on Flotman. As a result, Flotman could benefit from it.
And don't forget, these two as well are in a TTM train right now because Enzo's on the back or in P4. Flotman's currently leading the way. So they're stuck almost in a sandwich as Quantum is out of the race. I think he's retired, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. There are frame rating issues and everything when you do rejoin the session. So I think Quantum has done that as Joe Murphy makes a big mistake. And now here comes Renz Thomason, the Dutchman, on the outside line, trying to sniper his way in towards turn number 14 on the back of the Brit. But he can't find the way. He's thick on the kick Sauber. And Renz Thomason, though, they're in third, looking to try and manage his ERS. He's got 60% of ERS right now. Joe Murphy, 14%. Flotman, 33%. So Flotman has currently got better than ERS. Joe Murphy again nearly crouching the wall. And Renz Thomason has got that car absolutely hooked up like a duck on a merry-go-round right here. With Renz on the back of Joe. Lap 8 out of 11. Flotman trying to get away for the first time. Renz Thomason, though, if he can dispose of Joe Murphy, he's got this race.
Yeah, potentially, because Joe Murphy and Flotman have been pushing so hard. They're now in a deficit of around 40 to 50% of their ERS versus Renz at the moment. So actually, the ET8 man doing a really good job at maintaining the race pace, despite the fact that he's in third. It's a really good sprint here, and he's got to get to the end of this race, hopefully, in more than P3, because he's definitely got the advantage over these two.
Definitely so, and Renz on the back of Joe Murphy. That gap all of a sudden, is it raining out on track? No, I thought it was. I thought it was raining for the first time here tonight in Singapore. Might not be the last time I try and see shadows like that, but Flotman leading the way. Joe in second, Renz Thomason there in third. Renz still right on the back, nearly crouching the wall, coming across the Anderson Bridge, loses him time. Now on board with a helicopter shot with Joe Murphy there in second. Everything beginning to concertina up very nicely indeed. There are penalties, though, that have been picked up in this race. Luke Rapata, defending PSF1 champion there in P5, has got 3 seconds, as is Jeslar in P9, Guillen in P12, Rain in P13, and George Ansel in P15. They've all got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Renz pounding the back of the Brit once again. Joe Murphy, though, cannot find a way through on Flotman, and as a result, Joe Murphy is always weaker, I think, in the final sector. As a result of that mistake, again, coming to the final corner, Flotman's gapped him by 0.5 of a second.
Yeah, and both of them are actually into the lower 20s, if not actually into the teens at the moment in their ERS management. Renz is starting to push. He's got 50% extra ERS available at his disposal. BRT's Joe Murphy, 30%. He's going to go into the corner with a huge deficit in energy, and I have a sneaky suspicion BRT are about to lose second place. Here he comes with overtake.
Oh, looks the outside, inside line didn't work. Now it's the outside line. Oh, there's contact. Joe Murphy goes straight on into the side of Flotman. Flotman now leads the way. Renz Thomason now in second. Enzo there in third. Joe Murphy, almost as if he had no brakes coming in towards the corner there. Really, really strange incident. He's all the way down in 8th position. BRT are in the mud here with Joe Murphy and Thomas there down in 9th and 10th. They are going to be picking up points, but crucially, as Flotman is nearly sideways across the Anderson Bridge, Renz Thomason hounding the back of him, and now Enzo getting in the mix as well. This is going to turn tactical very easily indeed in the final stage of this race. Flotman leading the way, Renz in second, Enzo in third. Is Enzo going to try the move on the back of Renz? No. TTM are going to park the bus. Renz Thomason needs to find a way out the bus.
Going for it. Here he goes then around the outside line. Is he going to use the
No.
overtake? He's not on this occasion. He'll tuck straight back in using none. In this situation, what Renz did there was perfect. It was absolutely pin precise. He left the braking to the absolute limit, which forced Joe Murphy into braking later, which of course the move was never there versus Flopman, and the collision was inevitable. The thing is Flopman getting into the collision with Joe Murphy may now put him off, which means Rens Thomason has now got one up on Flopman as well. One lap to go after this one. Enzo in P3, Flopman in P1. They're both on the sprint podium as it stands, but will Flopman win it is the question.
Honestly, watch out for Luca Rapata as well. 62% of ERS compared to Enzo 120. Enzo trying to chase down the back of Renz. Renz on the back of Flopman. Not going to go for the move. Not going to go for the Joe Murphy, as I'm calling it now, in towards turn number 7 into a Memorial Corner. But Renz is hassling all over the back of Flopman's rear end. 41% of ERS. Flopman, though, has got 10% more. 53% of ERS coming out of the corner. He's got to really manage this as Luke Rapata, right on the back of Enzo, could give TTM something to think about as well. Flopman still leads the way. Ren's there in second. Renz is the man with a conscience, apparently. I see a comment there in the chat. He's definitely a man that is definitely approaching this race in the right way. You do not want to get involved in TTM's games. Renz has got probably this chance to get the move done and then to try and skate away as Flopman nearly runs wide once again through 14, now in toward 15. But look at Rens Thomason. He is not interested in this fight. He does not want this move.
Yeah, his teammate actually down in 17th and out of this race. The ETA are going to be earning big points from this race. They'll get the 10 as it stands from Renz, but TTM are going to extend their championship lead just from this race alone as Luca is flying high and up to third. Remember, he has that time penalty as Rayan also trying to get in there as well in the RB, but on this occasion, Enzo will hold on and he will keep P3 after the penalties are applied. Renz Thomason trying to keep as close as he possibly can. This is probably one of the only overtaking
he's going to get him.
It's a mistake for them though. Getting up on the inside here, and Renz Thomason could have this one done down the inside line and around the outside of the next corner, and ET8 take this lead.
And TTM's downfall is ET8's gain. Renz Thomason leading the way. Flopman, though, nearly deep in towards turn right, forces Renz into a mistake. Remember, though, Flopman goes for the move in towards turn number 9 now, in towards the Singapore Sling, and just about Renz Thomason gets that car stopped. Rayan and Enzo are side by side on the back end as well. The Algerian and the Frenchman are side by side. Renz Thomason leads the way, but has he hit the front too early? That is going to be my next question. Renz now coming across the Anderson Bridge, leads the way. Flopman in second has got 10% more ERS. This could be quite smart for the TTM man as he now comes down in towards turn 14 for the final time in the sprint. Remember, we've got a 50% feature race after this as well. Renz Thomason leads the way. 0.4 of a second coming out the corner. Here comes Flopman though. Alain Lebleur on the outside line potentially in towards turn 16 and 17. Hasn't got any ERS left. This is Renz Thomason, I think, to lose now. Coming to the left-hander of 17. In toward the left-hander now, turn 18 and 19. Renz Thomason has managed that race absolutely brilliantly. To the line, takes the sprint from Flopman in second. Rayan on the podium there in third. You've got to feel sorry for Luke Rapata with his potential podium finish marred by a 3-second penalty picked up earlier on in the race. But Renz Thomason wins the race. Flopman in second. And guess what? I called that about 4 laps ago.
Yeah, Renz Thomason absolutely played the blinder there, actually. Played the drivers around him like a fiddle. Just absolutely no issue whatsoever. He played Joe Murphy, forced him into the error, and then just absolutely nailed the overtake that he needed to do on the TTM man, and Flopman will have to just settle for P2 despite the fact that he led all but 1 lap of this race. What a shame for TTM, but nonetheless they will take a good chunk of points. Ignore what you see on the screen between the 8 and the 1. It's 12 points to Renz, 10 points to Flopman, and then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all the way down to 10th place. Great racing nonetheless.
Yeah, and that is going to bring the 31 laps of the feature race still to come as well. But it's Renz Thomason who takes the win for ETA. ETA finally arrive on the scene in Legacy Division this season. Flopman in second, Rayan in third, then it's Enzo, Ogwin, Gavano, Luke Rapata, Joe Murphy, Simbarox, and Jeslar rounding off the top 10 out on track. And it's not often you see actually a sprint around here covered by 6.5 seconds out on track. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. What we will do, because we're going to get a new lobby and everything, and we're going to get restarting, we are going to bring you to the results screen from last week and have a little bit of a deep dive, not only into what happened, of course, there in the sprint, but also what happened, of course, last week in Abu Dhabi, which was a pretty mental race, I think, on the face of the final few laps that we had at the Yas Marina circuit. Gabor took the win, Tom Robertson second, Justin there in third, but that was not really how the story ended with that race, given how Tom tried to go for the Moses-like move in towards turn number 9, didn't complete it, ended up P2. He was disappointed, I'm sure, with him dropping down into second. Justin there in third, however, BRT. And then that changed the standings completely because TTM, from having, a 30-point lead after Monaco, only have a 5-point lead over Team Shazoo coming into tonight. And judging by how that race went with Luca Rapazza, fantastic effort, I've got to say, from the guys out on track, as everyone's retiring. I was going to say we're getting one-track qualifying again, but everyone's retiring, so it's good.
Yeah, they're going to get a short qualifying before we head into the main race. I think everyone's just keen to get it over and done with, and then get them might be staying in the same lobby actually, and then just getting on with the race. But yeah, no, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last week I think emphasised the challenges that TTM are going to face if they want to remain as the championship contenders towards the front. You know, they've got to display consistency, and that's something that the team hasn't actually displayed. Yes, we've only had 3 rounds, but to be at the front in Monaco as we expected from them, to be towards the midfield and the back in Abu Dhabi, and now back towards the front again in Singapore, suggests TTM have got, obviously, the drivers for street circuits, but can they convert that on actual purpose-built circuits? So that's the challenge they're going to face. Shazoo a little bit down the order. TF10 actually had a really good turnout as well, actually, in this sprint race. I'll get there in the end. But in terms of Abu Dhabi, it was a real mixed bag in the end.
It was a real mixed bag in the end as well. And just to update you actually on the live points right now, as it stands going into what will be, of course, short qualifying and then the feature race, Flopman out on top. Flopman was nearly out on top in that sprint, but TTM are out on top, and they've extended their lead from 5 to 12 because of Luke Rapazza's 3-second penalty. TTM on 94 points coming into the feature race, with Luke Rapazza in second on 82. Team Shazoo in second on 82. BRT in third on 64. I'll get there in the end. TF Turner in fourth on 51. Then it's NVR in fifth on 48. TRT and CPI are tied for sixth on 42. TRT ahead of CPI in the standings. ECA after that great result from Rens Thomason, 27 points for them. And then it's EBE in ninth on 13. And then FRT, unfortunately, right now where they belong in Legacy Division, down there in P10. But TTM out on top. Coming into the feature race, just seeing on my end that there's about 4 cars going 4 wide and towards turn 1. Everyone is retiring and indeed going to be leaving the session for a new lobby. But TTM out on top, 12 points over Team Shazoo. It's going to be noticeable, I think, of how TTM approached that race, given how strong I think their team tactics were, even though it fell apart with Luca getting the move done on Enzo, and then Flopman ending up losing the race to Rent.
Yeah, no, I think it was one of those sort of awful scenarios, I think, in the end for Flopman, because he was leading from the front and managed his race accordingly. But I think just the one mistake under the pressure of Rens Thomason just left the door wide open. At the end of the day, Flopman couldn't do anything about it. And I think Rens is going to be someone to watch for the main race as well, you know, because he managed the mental side of racing. Because that's the other side of racing. The just driving in the car is not necessarily all of it. It's how do I goad my teammate into making a mistake? That's what I need to do. And in that scenario, well, he forced Joe Murphy into one hell of an error, and BRT lost a good chunk of points as a result. So that's what the whole fun. That's all the fun about it at the end of the day, isn't it? So really good, really good. And I'm looking forward to 31 laps and, of course, the 18 minutes of qualifying ahead of us.
Yep, 18 minutes of qualifying is indeed ahead of us, along with a 50% sprint, 50% feature race even. 31 laps, of course, going to be finding our drivers out on track. We are in the process of getting all the lobby and everything set up, so what we're going to do is throw over to our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder, and of course you will catch the trailer. We'll be back with you in probably about 2 or 3 minutes' time. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division, and that was perfectly timed because we are about to get going straight into short qualifying. And of course, it is still myself, James Head, and of course, Jota alongside me in the commentary box. Jota was just talking about getting his pizza in the oven, which I think with 18 minutes worth of qualifying, it's probably not the brightest idea right now to do because we are about to get the drivers' action out on track. But from what was a really good sprint, as my controller's just dropped on the floor, from what was a very good sprint, we now go into into the short qualifying, which gives us a real good sense of who's going to be the quickest guys out on track.
Yeah, I mean, you should expect TTM to be up there. Obviously, they're the kings of the street circuit at the moment, and I think certainly never ever discredit Team Shazoo, the team obviously looking to try their hardest to maintain their championship. Of course, now fighting for the championship with TTM at the moment as Luca Rapazza leaving the pit lane immediately alongside everyone else at the moment. And curiously, everyone leaving very quickly. I appreciate it's an 18-minute session, but we don't usually see a lot of people leave this quickly. Is there potentially rain on the horizon, I wonder?
I wonder, it's one of these tracks, to be honest, where you can get 4 runs in. I have seen this before on this game cycle, but you can get 4 runs in. So maybe that is the case. Maybe drivers just want to try and get a feel of the track, get that set of soft compound tyres on, and then potentially go through the session. Because remember, it is just a normal qualifying session. These guys are used to this in WR Console Tier 1, for example, week in and week out, where it is short qualifying, then straight into 50% race. So we will get to see everyone on the equal foot and everyone really seeing how they get on out on track. And Gabor is the first man out on track. He's had a huge snap of oversteer there. Coming through the right-hander there of turn number 14. Might have been on my end, because I can see my CPU begin to rocket through the system as now Gabor comes in towards turn 16 and 17. I'm going to go for a quick break. Jota, do you want to take us through this lap?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep a firm eye on what's happening at the moment out there. As fingers crossed, you should be able to hear me after all of the CPU issues that we're seeing at the moment. I'm just keeping an eye on Luca Rapazza at the moment, actually, who's just going to do his best as he's in a little bucket load of traffic at the moment, to say the least, as well. And what a disappointing turnout from Novus Racing, actually, in that sprint as well. Gabba and Quantum both retiring from the sessions, so they've got a lot to learn, have got Novus Racing, as Gabba is now heading his way up through turn 4. And it will be, a curious set of events, I think, for Novus as they take their learnings there and are very late on the brakes and locking up the front, locking up the rears this time, though, and just managing to get a bit of understeer to avoid any kind of weird scenario with their Haas Ferrari. Of course, all the Ferrari power units have been completely swapped out for a new sound as well in this particular set of the game. I'm not sure exactly as to how that will affect the drivers, but it certainly doesn't affect me when I was on time trial. For some reason, it sounds very odd indeed. And just going through under the bridge and now heading his way around through the right-hander does Gabba. It'll be obviously says in the fastest lap. He's the only person set a lap in that particular sector. We'll see what his initial lap time is. That one. So you're back with us, Gandhi.
Yeah, 101.7 in the middle sector from Gabor. I like how you flung over to me there. Now coming to the right-hander 16, to the left-hander now, turn number 17, on board with Gabor. Really snapping the car, actually, through the left-hander, turn number 17 there. Now through 18 and 19, on the run toward the line with Gabor. 25.7 to start off the night. Harvey said 25.4 will not be near last. Renters just had a 25.1. So if you are sitting at 25.4 right now, you're going to be ending up around about the mid-pack of the field. Renz Thomas and the Wild on top. 6/10 clear of Casper Flack. Now 4/10 clear even of Rien. George Ansel, Gavano there going third. Enzo back in the pit lane, so he's invalidated. As is Luke Rapazza. Lafiti on the run toward the line. Flotman there going second. But Renz Thomason out on top in this session. Absolutely loving life right now. There are a number of invalidations, though. Jeslar now coming through the final couple of corners. He's, in fact, bailing into the pit lane. Ogwe now to the line for Team Shazoo. Goes there into 7th position. But Renz Thomason, 3/10 clear of Flopman in the early stages of the qualifying. If I am Renz Thomason right now, I'll be thinking about maybe retiring, because that is a cataclysmic gap that he's got.
Yeah, considering the situation that if it was just Q1, I'd argue, yes, definitely. But I think there will be at least 3 or 4 tenths in this with just a pure track evolution. So I still think that could be beaten, actually. 25.4 for Flotman. He'd think, oh, that's well on my way to a really good pole position, but 3 tenths down on Renz. But a really good showing from TF10 team at the moment. The RB, sorry. The Visa Cash Grab RB Ferrari, Red Bull RPT, whatever they're called this week. 25.547, 25.697, hugging 4th and 5th. So second and third row spot for TF10 team. They're finding a bit of comfort around here as well. And not to discredit Casper as well, actually, the other ET8 driver in 6th place as well. Could be a good turnout for ET8 tonight.
Definitely could be right now. Of course, Casper they're down in 6th. The ball they're just a bit behind him in 7th. Mateo, I was just about to mention that from Mateo. He's saying Renz has got a 24.8 in him. I was literally about to say Renz Thomason has got a 24.8 in him, and he is going to try and set that hopefully within this session. No pressure, Renz. You're going to have us now for the next 12 minutes of the session. Oh, Quantum is in the wall. Quantum in the wall at the Singapore sling through the left-hand turn number 9, smashing it into the wall. Thought the curve does come out on you and the wall does come out on you slightly, and he was unsighted going in through the corner. Quantum is out of the session, and Quantum has just proven, quite literally in Singapore, there is quantum physics after all.
Oh, Novus Racing are really struggling around here tonight as well. It's normally characteristic of a team, usually with actually quite a lot of strength in them as well. They had a good turnout last season, but this season so far has turned out to be a little bit more on the tricky side for the Xbox outfits. So yeah, not the best from Quantum there, as you do yourself a favour by trying to get the car around the circuit and not put it in a wall. Jeslar on an outlap at the moment as well. CPI trying to set themselves a little bit of motions rolling here. They had a great qualifier, didn't they? But they've just not really 100% turned out for the actual event so far. Plenty of races in the season to go, but it's a little bit more in the CPI team than 11th place with Fraser at the moment. Gabba up in 7th though, so Novus at least in the top 10. And remember, of course, if you are just tuning in, this is a short qualifying. We've just finished over a sprint race, so this will be the grid as it stands so far. Renz Thomason out there with a 25.1. And I was about to say as well, I said about 3 or 4 tenths probably left in this track on pure track evolution. If Renz Thomason can find a 24.8 with additional support around this track, could be a 24.7 in him.
Could be a 24/7, you never know around here at Singapore. Ends up all the way down the hill in towards the Singapore sling at turn number 9, has actually got through that section without defying the quantum physics coming through now. Of course, the Anderson Bridge in 12 and 13. Enzo really flying on this lap time, 25.7 through the first sector. His middle sector should be around a 101.3? 101.4, just about 10th off there from Enzo, coming to the middle sector, so he's on with Flopman, on with Joe Murphy, on with Brienne. Certainly not going to match the real scaling heights there of Renz Thomason. Luca Rapato is on a lap behind him. I think he might have actually backed off as Luca in the Alpine. Enzo now coming to the left-hander though of turn number 17, and in toward the final 2 corners now at turns 18 and 19. We'll see what the TTM man can do on the run line. Should go second, does go second, 25.420. Once again, TTM proving themselves. They are forced to be reckoned with. Luca Rapato not invalidating his lap time. Now through the final corner on the run to the line. He only manages 6th position, but there's quite a few drivers within a 25.5. We see as well, I think FLT Rain there on his outlap going 14. Jeslar now coming through the final couple of corners. Simbarox 1 as well toward the line. He, I think, invalidated, but Jeslar on the run to the line. He goes into 9th. So CPI certainly looking a bit better there with Jeslar than they are right now with Fraser. Do we even dare go on board with Renz Thomason? He's purple in the first sector.
It was down in the first sector, according to my screen. 53 thousandths of a second down in the first sector. Second sector split will be coming. He said 101.3s is potentially what we're going to look for, but on the curve down, so there's a little bit more uncomfort potentially coming here as he comes across the line with a 101.3 exactly, and 69 thousandths of a second down in the second sector. Nice, but not so nice at the moment for Renz, who doesn't look like he's going to be improving unless the third sector was where it was at, and he's actually on an invalid lap according to my screen now as well. So we'll see where he would have set his lap time as he now comes across the final couple of corners, and in fact he will dive into the pit lane to avoid any kind of conversation about that one. Wasn't the cleanest.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest indeed. Flopman, however, though, is improving through the first sector, and it's 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector. Flopman not proving to be a flop right now out on track, coming through the left-hander of 15, in towards the right-handers of 16 and 17. It's looking very good now for the TTM team, of course, provided the 11-minute highlights that I saw earlier on for round 1 of the championship. Flopman now coming through the left-hander of turn number 18 and 19. Really scoring, that's cost him pole, but it's a 25.3, and in the end, a 10.5 down on what Renz Thomason set earlier on. So Renz out on top, Flopman there in second, Entel there in third. If he didn't lose that, coming through the left-hander of turn number 18 there, It would have been a 25-2. I don't think it would have been Renz Thomason sort of area, though, from Floatman, but still, very good showing there from the Frenchman, as Rayen is on an invalid lap, and Joe Murphy about to come to the line as well. He goes second, so 25.2, matching Renz 25.1, 23 hundredths of a second separating Renz and Joe Murphy. Can they get near to 2000s?
Not surprising that Flotman's time was all lost in the third and the first sector. First sector is actually matching with his own time, but well off the pace of Renz Thomason. But in the third sector, he lost so much time, so he needs to concentrate on that third sector and stop using the curbs as aggressively. And I think that might just sneak him into the 25-1. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. But I still think Renz Thomason certainly has got a 24 in him. Could be a 24-7, likely a 24-8, but has he got a fresh set of softs on? He does. New set of soft tyres now on him, and as he goes on his outlap, he has got another set of softs available at his disposal. So I'm wondering, actually, if that second run he did was actually on the same set of softs he did his first run on. So it might have been a used set on that second occasion.
Is that very cheeky from the man, potentially, there out on track? We'll wait and find out. Gian is on a lap time right now, comes to the left-hand of turn number 3. The TRT. TRT started very strong this season in qualifying. And then the down in 14th and 15th here in Singapore, so it is a little bit up against it. Gian hits the wall there as well on the left-hand side. Coming to the right-hander there of turn number 6, and in towards now the left-hander of turn number 7 at Memorial Corner. So we'll see what he's going on. He's a 10th and a half up in the first sector. Nearly invalidates, coming through turn 7, now to the right-hander, the turn number 8, and he's nearly in the wall. Coming now in towards Penang Corner at turn number 9. Renz though out on top, Joe Murphy in second, Flotman there currently in third. George Ansel, by the way, for you guys, fans, currently out on track. There he is. Only giving him a brief interlude because he's down on lap time right now. But Gian now coming from the left-hand with turn number 12 across the Anderson Bridge in towards 13. Nearly hitting the wall on the right-hand side there. Nearly losing the car as well through 13. And the TLT man is up against it now to try and be valid in this middle sector. Gian's middle sector, 101.4, 2/10 improvement. He is aiming to go around Luke Rapata Jeslov area.
Yeah, he's looking at somewhere in the region of the 25-6s, I think, at the moment. It's Gain. We'll see what his third sector's like, though, as he comes through the right-hander. He's losing the rear ever so slightly and then losing the front ever so slightly, so he's not 100% confident is the Italian team driver, as he uses a lot of curb but manages it quite well. 25-6, 25-5, finds a 10th of a second and puts himself in the top 10. And right above, guess who? Luca Ripazza, Mystic James.
And look at that as well, 3,000th of a second separating Casper Flack, Gian and Luke Rapata. Quantum now is retired from the sessions, clearly still getting the frame rating issues out on track. Enzo was up in the first sector. Renz Thomason's coming across the Anderson Bridge, but has he backed off on his lap? Yes, he has. Renz Thomason has backed off on his lap time. So right on board with the Frenchman of TTM Enzo with 5 minutes on the clock. Renz currently in the way. Joe Murphy second, Flotman in third. Enzo's really pushing the limits there. Coming across the line will be Gabor very soon indeed in 11th position. He's now through, I think, the left-hand return number 18. Just catching this on the mini-map. Enzo's middle sector. He is up. Gabor, though, does improve up to 10th, but in the end, I think nearly lost it through the final corner.
Oh, he had a purple second sector. He's absolutely flown in the second sector, did Gabor. He was flying out there, but the third sector's obviously overheated the tyres going through the final corner. Lost the rear ever so slightly. Definitely lost at least 3/10 in that final corner alone. That would have put him well within touching distance of the top 5.
And Enzo in the end manages to get P3. Just came through there a little bit on the light side there, on the laggy side, I should say, with that lap time. But Enzo there in third, Flotman there in fourth, Rayen there just about to start his lap up in fifth. Luke Rapata is invalidated. Gabor, we mentioned on the lap time. Jeslov is 2.5 tenths up through the middle sector. So we'll see what the CPR man can do out on track as well. George Ansel, by the way, down in 18th position. He's in the pit lane right now. Simba Rocks is struggling right down the bottom end of the field. Jeslov dukes me into the pit lane. This little old swine, as Ogween is up in the middle sector. The Shazoo man is 10th and a half up, and he is looking quite good. Very wide there across the apex. Coming through 14 and 15. Now in towards the chicane once again at turn 16 and 17. Underneath the Singapore Iron, underneath the main bridge that goes over the motorway, of course, here in Singapore. And Ogween now, the former NVR man back in the day, the former TTM, not TTM man back in the day, but he goes there in 10th position. The former Team Valor man has just nearly set the same lap time as Gabor, but he goes ahead of his former teammate.
3.5 minutes to go in this session, so we're going to see an influx of people leaving the pit lane imminently, I think. Ogween just coming across the line to start his lap, both at the moment fifth row of the grid for Team Shazoo, as Rayan in fifth at the moment with Giovanno in sixth. Third row of the grid for the TF10 team. Second row of the grid at the moment for TTM. And then Renz and Renz for ET8 and BRT's Joe Murphy sharing the front row as it stands. Rayan is flying out there at the moment, really pushing to the end of the limit of that RB.
He is absolutely beautiful coming through this middle sector. Rayan, if he is not up in this middle sector, he is. He's a 10th and a half up, and he's currently on, matching Renz Thomason, matching Joe Murphy. So Rayan has got to find something special. He's got a lot of overtake mode to use up down this straight, in towards turn 16 and 17. Low on fuel, really gaining all the advantage he can out on track. The French Algerian now coming through the left-hander turn 17. Nearly snaps the car wide. This is one and only chance to try and get up there. Rayan now through the final corner, on the run to the line. Third position in the end, 25.242. In the end, only 600th of a second off. Joe Murphy, speaking of which, invalidated on his first run. So Joe Murphy not going for a first run at the minute. Renz the lad on top. Joe Murphy in second. Rayan there in third. I want to ask Matteo, by the way, if he's still there. Where's Renz Thomason's 24.8 coming out?
Ogween is out of qualifying. Into the pit lane he will go. 20 seconds to get his car into the box. And that will be that's not enough time at all for him to get out there as well. So Ogween will be on the 5th row at the absolute most, but there's plenty of drivers who are looking quick out there. Gabba, Jeslar, I would even say Feddy as well is looking fairly sharp as well, as there's a confirmation Ogween will not be taking any further part in this qualifying. He's out-qualified by his teammate Luca.
Snapping the wall there from Flopman coming through the right-hander at turn number 5. He's through the first sector split, 25-6 in the first sector from Flopman. Renz Thomason's going to be the next one to come across the line. So we'll compare his first sector when Flopman gets to the end of the middle. So Flopman leading the way currently on this lap time right now, up by 0.02 of a second. Trying to see if he can find any sort of improvement through the middle sector. Wow. Beautiful coming through the Singapore Sling. Taking so much curb. Beautiful again coming across the Anderson Bridge. And the TTM man is on it right now. Renz Thomason is about to come through the first sector split. I'll quickly flick to him. Catches first sector. He's invalid. So ignore him. Flopman coming through the middle sector split. 500s up. Purple middle sector. 101 flat. Nearly out wide. Nearly invalid coming through 14.
Yeah, he was very close up there, and he's obviously pushing to the absolute limit. Tyres are screaming at him as he comes through the final couple of corners, looking to try and get into the 25 ones. If he can help it into the wall, he might lose a lot of time going through there, through the left-hander. He's going to take a lot of curb. The car's settled, comes across the line, 25.270. He improves on his time, but not his position.
Renz Thomason, though, will not get another lap time. He is not going to have enough time to set another lap at the minute. Joe Murphy will, though. He's now about to come through this middle sector split. Joe Murphy's middle sector, 101.2. He's up by 0.08 of a second on Renz. Renz's downfall might be Joe Murphy's gain. BRT are looking good right now. Coming through the left-hand for 15. Now in towards the braking zone. A turn 16 for the final time for Joe Murphy. Renz Thomason not getting this lap time set. He is done. Joe Murphy, though, looking really good now. Through the final corner, absolutely smashing it on the run to the line, and he does get it. 25.106. Fantastic lap time from him. Enzo was purple, however, in the first sector. Nearly hits the wall. I think he did hit the wall, in fact, coming through turn of brakes. Now in towards the Singapore Sling at turn number 9. Jeslo there going P6. Gavarna was on a lap time as well. 10th and a half improvement. Has a big snap of oversteer. The young Dutchman on the run to the line loses all of that time coming through the part of the lap. Enzo, though, 25.6. Absolutely pushing this. He needs a special middle sector compared to Joe Murphy. Is he going to match Joe Murphy's middle sector? Remember, it was a 101.1. 101.1, and Enzo was right on it again. Now coming to the right hand for 14. This is a thrilling end to this qualifying session here in Singapore. Joe Murphy currently out on top. Renz there in second. Rayan there in third. Can Enzo manage anything through this final sector? Pips the curb through right hand for 16. Now through left hand for 17. I think he's lost time coming through there. Enzo now through 18 and 19 on the run to line. Does he do it? No, lost all the time. 25.3 in the end. Flopman is down on his lap time. That's the end of qualifying, folks, and Joe Murphy out on top. Renz Thomason in second. Rayan there in third. And in the end, Enzo, for what was looking like he was going to improve ahead of Rayan, Enzo ended up 5th position and lost all of that time, but that snapped through 16.
Yeah, Joe Murphy has done exactly to Renz what Renz did to Flopman, and looking like he was going to take first place all the way through to the end of the session, but in the end snagged at the absolute death for pole position. Well played for BRT and Joe Murphy to take that pole position against the ET8 man, and fair play to Rayan for TF10 as well, snagging themselves a front spot on the second row, which will force one of the TTM boys in Enzo to the third row as a result of that one in fifth. Gabba, good effort from him from Novus in sixth place. Alpine and Shazoo, highest position for them in qualifying for seventh place. It's a little bit out of position for the team looking to hold on to their championship.
Yeah, and following on from that, Luke Rapazza, they're down in 7th, Jeslaw there in 8th, and Gavonum, Casper Flack ran off the top 10. 4.5 tenths covering the top 11 is pretty decent stuff. G in there in 11th, with Ogween in 12th, then Feddy, Fraser, Simbarox, Lafiti, my word, Thomas there in 17th. There's 0.003 of a second covering 4 drivers, and then skipping through the rest of the field there. Absolutely amazing qualifying session in the end. Really hope you enjoyed that one. Do not go anywhere, because we are getting straight into this race, as it looks like Quantum again is still having issues potentially joining the session. Obviously with his frame rate drops and everything, it might be best if he sits out. I can see somebody in the chat saying he's from Jamaica. You haven't got any of this Jamaican man, but everyone out on track. I'm never repeating that again. Everyone out on track will be going very soon indeed, and we'll be getting going very soon. But if you need your fix to come up for what is going to happen, remember the points coming into tonight. Let's have a look at the standings once again. The updated standings compared to that graphic is as follows. Just loading up on my end. TTM lead the way on 94 points. Then it is Luke Rapazza in second. Hang on, are we getting going?
No, we're just getting
we're retiring.
a session restarted. Just fine. Sorry about it.
Thank goodness for that. Anyway, yeah, TTM out on top on 94 points. Luke Rapazza, Team Shazoo in second on 82. BRT in third on 64. Then TMT at TF10 even in fourth on 51. Goodness me, I can't speak English. NVR in fifth on 48. Then TRT and CPI on 42. ETA in 9th on 27, EVE in 9th on 13, and then FRT in 10th on 7 points. Got there in the end. TTM, though, leading by 12 points coming into tonight. They had a fantastic end in that sprint race. Of course, Team Shazoo also had a great race, with Luke Rapazza having that 3-second penalty and dropping out of the podiums. It meant, though, TTM extending that gap from 5 points to 12 points. How crucial is that going into the feature?
Yeah, it's going to be fairly critical, isn't it, at this point, because the drivers have all got to remember that it's not really the easiest place to overtake here. So you've got to make sure that you try and qualify well. So that's where it's going to be so critical. And I think TTM, especially being in the position they are, is going to be the better position for the qualifying as well. So for the race, rather, in their position in 4th and 5th. Just keeping an eye out then as the drivers are now getting themselves ready. They are very keen to get going, aren't they? Are the drivers around Singapore for what is going to be a very, very, very intense 31 laps.
To be fair, who doesn't blame them, to be honest, for getting going very, very quickly indeed. Hopefully everything will go according to plan. Hopefully you are all enjoying the stream. If you are, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. What I am going to do, though, is do a little bit of self-promotion, because we have got this to come up on Friday night. Of course, it is the season finale of Console Tier 1, and indeed the other console tiers as well, coming up tomorrow night as well, and also on Friday for for Console Tier 2. Japan is the track for what is going to be a really fitting finale. We've got a number of drivers within the title fight going into the final race of the season. And from when I covered the action on Friday alongside Mr. Gareth Davies, nearly forgot his name there. Mr. Gareth Davies, of course, alongside me in the commentary box for that one. It was a fantastic race, very dramatic in Jeddah, and in the end, it all came down to the final lap of the race. And this is all going to come down to the final race of the season once again, because Furious leads the way. These are, I think, up-to-date standings. 108 points for Furious, Cameron Dowd in second on 90, Flopman in third on 84. So it is 24 points covering the top 3 going into the final race of the season. They're the only ones in total contention. It's very good, though, from Fuse's perspective, 18 points over Cameron Dowd's. Flopman in third, I think, needs some good form here tonight in Legacy Division just to back him up going into Friday.
Yeah, 100% agree on that one as well. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there wanting the best from the drivers here tonight, and for what is going to be, I think, a considerable week actually in general esports events. To be honest with you, the drivers are just now, by the looks of things, leaving this lobby, and we're going to be setting up a new one, and I think that might offer an opportunity potentially for Quantum, because of course he's been facing some challenges with this particular lobby. So Quantum might be back in the race, albeit he will be starting right at the back in 20th.
Well, I can't get in the session right now. I accepted the invite on PlayStation, albeit from Gavano. Didn't accept it. So, very strange. I am now in the lobby.
You're in now.
I am in the lobby right now, and hopefully the Xbox guys can join. Hopefully we'll get all the invites out. I'm certainly going to send all the PS guys invites as well on my end. So what we'll do is, just to whet your appetite a little bit further, we're going to go on a slight intermission break. You're going to hear some music. We'll be back with you in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight, as I say, for season number 5, round 3 of the championship. It's still myself, James said. It's still Jota alongside me in the commentary box. It's a good job we did have that intermission, because there was a few technical gremlins going on Jota's end, that is for sure. But what we are about to get now is everyone going out on track, because it is time for the 31 laps of this race, the feature race that we do have here tonight. And if the sprint race is anything to go by, we could see a masterclass from an ET8 man.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he absolutely nailed, didn't he, the racing management for FYI for those interested. For some reason, my co-commentator turned into a complete robot on my side, so I needed to fix that one. Ren's is acting like a robot at the moment because he's got absolutely no emotion whatsoever into managing other people's mindsets, to say the least. So he's managed to dupe BRT's Joe Murphy one time, no harm in doing it again. And TTM, a little bit out of position in 4th and 5th. Flopman should have expected at least a closer competition with him and Rens and Joe Murphy, but couldn't quite get the lap together in qualifying. So a little bit down the order, but 4th place, not a bad position to start with around here. And fair play, though, to Jezlar for CPI getting into the top 10 in 8th place. But a little bit of a gap for the TF10 boys with Gavano and Rayen. They was looking so close, weren't they, at one point, but 3rd and 9th, respectively, for them. TRT having a slightly better qualifying in 11th and 13th. The Italian team looking to try and continue in their points haul at the moment. And Quantum, fingers crossed for the Novus Racing boy that this is the lobby for him.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully with the fresh lobby restart and everything, his connection and everything is good. Everything that went wrong on his end is back in full working order. I know there's a lot of rain going on right now in the UK, especially down south, so he might be down there in the south of the country. But we have been told that the drivers are getting to ready up at 2027. Not the year, sadly. We're not going to be waiting 3 years on this live stream. Don't worry whatsoever. We are going to be starting in a minute's time. So a minute's time is for everything to happen out on track. But before that, I want to know 2 things. Your predictions in the chat for who you think is going to win this race, and also who my co-commentator thinks is going to win this race. Jota, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to win?
Quantum. No, I think the situation is leading very much to TTM managing their race accordingly. I think they'll get one on the podium, but I don't think they'll win it. I really want to see Joe Murphy do this. He's doing the inverse strategy versus Rens and starting on the hard as it stands. So it'd be interesting to see if he can get the good race start and keep Rens at bay. Joe Murphy has actually got a real shout at winning this race. So if he stays on the hard, Joe Murphy.
I think we might have an issue with the grids. Potentially. Okay. Doesn't look like grid pens have been done. BRT and MVR have both got the penalties. Yeah. And it's Quantum who served the penalty. It doesn't matter because he's starting in the back of the field anyways. And it's the BRT man of Thomas, I think. Thomas is P19, apparently, according to Justin. So, hopefully, everyone's in the right position. We'll find out in a few seconds' time if everyone is going to be in the right position. If not, we are going to be having that restart as well. So, I think everything is fine. Hopefully, though, who knows? It could be World Online restart for 3rd time here tonight, but you never know indeed. But we are about to get going. Drivers are about to ready up out on track. We should be seeing the majority of drivers starting maybe on a set of hards, maybe on a set of mediums. So it will be a real determining factor to see what strategies everyone will be on out on track. There is a lot of debate going on, which is why we're delaying the start just a little bit to make sure all the grid positions are right. I'm sure, Jota, you can check and see who is in what position.
I certainly can, but I don't want to. No, I will. Of course, I will. I'll have a quick look and see what we've got here, because I'm under the impression that BRT's Thomas wasn't. I don't think he was 16th.
He should be 19th.
I don't think he was 16th. I think he was. Where did he qualify? Actually, I'm just trying to figure it out now. Luke is saying ready up and thinks that there's full confidence in the grid, so we'll take a look and I'll get back to you on that one. Just I think we're conscious about wanting to just get the race on the go. I think that's the priority.
Yeah, I think everyone wants the race to get going, that is for sure. Out on track. Lawrence, by the way, I'm doing very, very well. Hope you all doing well as well. But we are going to get going very soon indeed, and I mean within hopefully the next 30 seconds for the racing out on track. There's a lot of debate going on about who's in what position, who's who, and what's what, and all of those questions that these drivers like to ask. But we should be getting going very, very soon indeed for WOR Legacy Division here tonight, unless one of the drivers is having an issue and hasn't reported it. But we are going to get going. The 5 lights are now about to go out here in Singapore for the feature race, and it is... Lights out, and away we go when Rens Thomason gets a better start than Joe Murphy. Surely going to be pulling alongside down in towards turn 1. In fact, he's already ahead. Rens leads the way through turn number 1. Rayanne on the back of Joe Murphy as well to the inside line. In towards turn number 3, trying to get the move done in the Visa RB, and he gets the job done as well. Joe Murphy dropping the way down into 3rd. Enzo under pressure. Luke Rapata to the inside line in the back of Enzo as well. Nearly puts him in the wall. They fight very aggressively in the back end as well. Rens leads the way in the charge down Raffles Boulevard for the first time in this 31 lap race. Nichols Flopman to the inside on Joe Murphy. Luke Rapata coming for the way through on Enzo, and in the end they stick as they are. Rens leading the way, Rayanne in 2nd, Joe Murphy in 3rd. The PSF1 champion Luke Rapata all the way around the outside, inside line of Penang at turn number 9. Beautiful move, Luca Rapata. That's why he's a champion. He's through and he's into 5th.
Yeah, perfect move there from Luca Rapazza. TTM not having the best start. Joe Murphy having an appalling start. The hard tyres are just not good at this part of the race. He needs to switch on a little bit. He'll need to stay within close proximity. Thankfully for him, though, DRS will be available at the end of this lap. Curiosity's sake, for people who are interested, the grid was absolutely fine. He started in qualified 17th place, did Thomas. So both of the people that served the grid penalties were at the back anyway.
Fantastic stuff. Casper Flack is side by side with Gavano as well. Gavano under pressure, Jeslo under pressure from the back of Gavano as well. Oh, Casper Flack to the inside line. Never going to work. Does it work? Just about on the outside line. How on earth he got that move done? Casper Flack like a flash out of a bolt to the inside line, on the outside line through 19. Job done on that Telesoft companatize. He's through and he's into 9th. Gian and Freddy also side by side in the background shot briefly as well. Calm everyone. Lap 2 out of 31. Rens leads the way. Rayanne in 2nd. Joe Murphy there in 3rd. Joe Murphy got swallowed up from the start, not only because the drivers were around him on a set of mediums, but because he was on a set of hards. As Gabor makes a mistake, and Jeslar now going to take full advantage of that. Dan Raffles Boulevard gets the move done. I think Gabor, I think is fine though in terms of damage. No, he isn't. He's got right side.
Yeah, right side end plate damage, might be left as well. Oh, nearly going into the Norris corner exactly the same way Norris did actually, but managed it quite well. So now he's on hard tyres with major structural front wing damage on the right-hand side against someone on soft tyres with all of the available strategies available to him. Two-stop strategy is going to be on the cards here for ET8's Casper Flash, but he's absolutely nailing this race so far as well, doing a great job and gaining the 1 position against Gibano. Needs to keep on the pressure versus Gabba, who's down 2 positions with the hard tyres and of course with that front wing damage. Keep an eye on Luca Rapazza, who's having a really good start as well down the inside line as Casper gets it done.
And now Gavano's going to be on the front foot as well, on the back of Gabor. Gabor can only fight on a wounded car for so long. Gavano now to the outside line, gives up, and that's the job done for Gavano around the outside through, and he's into 9th. Gabor, I would not be surprised if he's in the pit lane. He's not. He's going to continue on, so maybe holding up the TRT boys. Maybe the plan there. Rayen sets a fast lap the race, and he's now right on the back of Rens. Coming across the line to start lap number 3 out on track. Hopefully everything's going well with the stream, by the way. Let me know if any audio's out of sync and all of that jazz. Lorenzo leads the way. Rayen there in 2nd. The French Algerian looking to try and get the move done on the Dutchman. 84% of ERS compared to Rens on 57. So you would think Rayen might look for a move. But because it's too early in the race, he's not going to look for the move, and he's going to play it very tactical indeed. But his TF10 teammate of Gavano doesn't. He's on the outside line. Casper Flack gets the move done. So Casper Flack, all of that work of getting past Gabor, all of that work of getting past Gavano has just been put in his face again.
Yeah, Gavano racing in Kimi Raikkonen's number 7 in the Visa cash grab, looking to try and just hold on now to potentially a bit of pressure on Jeslar. Jeslar making a mistake at the end of turn 4 and going off very wide indeed. So Jeslar at the moment feeling a little bit of pressure as he's tried to keep up with Enzo at the moment. But at the moment the McLaren not looking very confident, and that might just allow the TF10 team driver to get a little bit on the close side. Luca Rapazza keeping up with the close proximity of Joe Murphy, who's really struggling at the moment on these hard tyres. He's now 6/10 down on Rayen and hoping to stay within DRS, but 4/10 away, and he might just end up being the leader of a DRS train. Again, another mistake going through the corner. These hard tyres are horrible. They're not finding any comfort at all out there, as the gap is now 8 tenths, and he's getting closer and closer to losing that DRS.
Honestly, if I'm Flopman, I'd be going for the move right now, because Flopman made a mistake himself through 14. Joe Murphy made the mistake through the same corner, but Flopman caught the curb, and he nearly catches the curb again, coming through the left-hand turn number 3 there. So he's really under pressure, Flopman, from not only, I think, his own driving, but from Joe Murphy ahead. Joe Murphy taking very aggressive lines on the curbs, and now Rayen on the back of Renz, going for the race lead to the inside line, in towards turn number 7, down Raffles Boulevard. Flopman getting the move done on Joe Murphy as well. So we see the swap for P1 and 3. Rayen through and into the lead, and Flopman through on Joe Murphy, and he's into 3rd position out on track. Mateo saying in the chat, I haven't seen a dive bomb defended so cleanly. These guys are behaving themselves out on track. I thought it would have been very, very helter-skelter, very aggressive early on. But what this has done, the top 6 have pulled away, and Jeslar is leading a second group, essentially, all the way down to Thomas. And then you've got George Ansel and FRT Rain. George Ansel, by the way, did get the move done on Rain on the last lap, so Spooney's into 18th, and Quantum, on that sort of soft compound of tyres, has got to try and make a mountain out of a molehill right now, so he needs a safety car in this race. He's there down in P20, right at the back of the field, so not going according to plan for NVR right now, with the ball especially in 12th.
Yeah, Flopman doing a good job getting that move done on Joe Murphy. He needed to do that one so that he can make sure he stay within DRS territory of Renz and Rayen, because he is definitely a front 2 pace. Joe Murphy, on the other hand, is not. He's starting to really lose ground already on Flopman, and he might end up falling into the clutches of Luca Rapazza, the Shizou driver, in 5th place. Enzo needs to get a shift on as well, down 1 position, and hopefully TTM can reconcile points here, because as it stands so far, they may just be getting a little bit more of a jump on Team Shizou in the standings, but Enzo needs to be realistically in the top 5 if they really want to make that gap pronounced. Flopman getting close, but Rayen and Renz Thomason switching positions once again as ET8 now retakes the lead of this race.
Yeah, really nice moves going on out on track. Gavarnov through on Jeslar, Guillen through on a Casper Flack. Casper Flack's tyres are absolutely going off the cliff early on what, lap 5 out of 31? Ooh. I did say they were for about 6%. They are wearing off a hell of a lot quicker than that right now. The Casper Flack, and he is going to be dropping down the field into the clutches of Fetty, Ogween, Gabor, Simbarox, the likes, before he does decide to come in the pit lane. As Renz leads the way, Rayen there in 2nd, Flopman there in 3rd. Jeslar at the moment in time is back on PlayStation for now, at least. I think he has been, of course, on PC recently in WOR and indeed in PSGL, I think, as well. So he's down in 8th position, but he is on the back of Gavarno. To my understanding, Jeslar doesn't have any damage. I think there was a little bit of a report there from drivers in the, from you guys there in the chat, but Jeslar might have had damage. He hasn't. I think it's just because the top 6 are in a big old DRS train. Gavarno was in a bit of no man's land, and Jeslar's in a bit of no man's land. They're beginning to gap the guys ahead for a second, so therefore they're going to be stuck in no man's land right now, and they are going to be really up against it to try and gain on the front train.
Yeah, meanwhile, all this will actually benefit Joe Murphy, of course, who's on the hard tyre. Now, his tyres have just begun to switch on now. First set of penalties for track extension issues now belonging, unfortunately, to the Future Racing team. Not a very bright future if 3-second penalties are on the occasion after just 6 laps. Casper Flash is really struggling at the moment on these soft tyres, but tell you who is struggling really badly, Gabba. 15th place now with this damage on the front wing. I really would suggest he just comes in and has to just take a humble 2-stop after that issue with the front wing. Red Thomas is still leading the way, though, 3/10 down from Rayen and Flopman, who is now on the back of Rayen, to say the least. But Joe Murphy, with his tyres now really switched on, is welcoming himself back into this battle. And, of course, the hard tyres will definitely go further.
Yeah, definitely. So, Gabor there, I think, is holding out maybe for some medium compound tyres towards the halfway stage of the race. Guillen is through Gavarno further down the field. Gavarno was at an issue, I think. Coming out 14. Oh, and actually, his wheel or something is broken. Don't know what on earth happened there. I think Gavarno might have had a wheel disconnect potentially, and he's dropped down the field, down into P12. Really strange going on there from the Dutchman, the young Dutchman, of course. They're down in P12, and he is really struggling. Is he desyncing as well? Gavarno now from the left-hand return, 17 and 18 and 19. And Gavarno is still going, but maybe internet issues, maybe a slight wheel disconnect there as well for the Dutchman.
I think the Dutchman is on a different area of the circuit versus Simbarox at the moment. The FRT driver needs to keep it clean here because they need to try and earn some points. And as it stands so far, they're out of the points. And the last thing they need is a mistake there as Flopman is deciding he wants to get it up there, up close and personal as he tries to battle against Joe Murphy, whose hard tyres have really switched on.
Crispy saying, switch off the engine, Giovanno, engine overheating. Crispy always does like to bring, I think, the worst out of drivers there. That's for sure with that comment. Giovanno there, though, he's back underway, he's back going at speed, and he is actually catching the back of Casper Black Ogween. That battle once again, so it's not all over and done with. He's not going to end the race here. He's there in P12, slight issue on his end, he's back underway, and he's back at full racing speed, which is good to see. Rien on the back of Renz, looking to try and get the move done. On the back of the Dutchman, there is a yellow flag, and that is Rain in the wall, and that's a safety car. Safety car deployed, out on track, Rain straight on in towards turn number 9. He's done the quantum, hasn't he, in qualifying?
Yeah, he's done the quantum, and unfortunately for Rain, that will now see him out of this race, and FRT are going to be reliant upon just the one man in Simba in 13th place. Everyone now slows down to 40% of their usual racing speed. Renz Thomason leading from the front. Wonder what he will do and the rest of the medium tyre runners will do, because what's things for certain is BRT's Joe Murphy is absolutely going to stay out on these hard tyres. But the question is what is on the cards for the rest of the field? I would suspect a set of hard tyres for everyone else as well. Hard tyres going on Renz Thomason's car. Hard tyres going on the front tyres of Rayen. Yep, Simbarox 1 also on the hard tyres alongside Ogween, but they're staying out because they started on the hard tyres. But curiously, hard tyres were also on BRT Thomas's car. Remember, he served the 3-place grid penalty, so he started in 19th place. He's now on the same strategy as Joe Murphy and only 2 positions down.
And Joe Murphy, speaking of which, has just got an AI. I think he's got an AI, or he's just put a GIF in the Discord. Hey, GG's, bro, good fight, man. I'm not sure who that might be aimed at out on track, but Joe Murphy clearly needs to focus on the road ahead rather than putting GIFs there in the chat in Discord. He is leading the virtual safety car right now, or he is the virtual safety car right now, with us being under safety car conditions out on track. Joe Murphy, though, leading the way. Ogween there in second, Simbarox in third, and then Thomas there in fourth. The beauty of having these guys in perfect F124 cars is there was hardly any double stacking in the pit lane. I think the only double stack we might have seen was Fetty and Gian, and also, I think, Enzo and Flopman. But apart from that, everyone, I think, is fine. Joe Murphy, though, out on top. Ogween in second, Simbarox currently in third position as it stands, as everyone now gets back on the safety car train, and we are going to get underway very soon indeed. My CPU right now seems to be tanking, so if I am lagging, please let me know.
I think you're absolutely fine on my side. Fingers crossed everything is absolutely fine. But they're questioning from Joe Murphy, who's saying, good fight, man, GG's, bro. I'm not sure if it's...
Oh.
Specifically higher at the start, runners will go the distance. So it's all about now what BRT Thomas can do. If BRT have got something in mind here, they might tell Thomas to defend like a lion and try and hold back the new hard tyre runners as long as they can. And I'm expecting the hard tyres to take a little bit longer to actually switch on as well. So those that are actually on the used hard tyre might just experience a bit more pace initially out the blocks as those on the new hard tyres. Just keeping a firm eye as well on everyone else around. CPI Fraser, medium tyres for him. George Ansel also on the medium tyre for the team racing in the Mercedes. But curiously, Quantum on a set of soft tyres right at the back of the grid, just switching over to a set of hards as Novus Racing, unfortunately, once again reconciling right at the back of the grid in 18th and 19th.
Yeah, definitely so. Apologies, by the way, the stream did lag for a second there. Oh my word, Joe Murphy's nearly gone the back of the safety car. Goodness me. He needs to really focus on that virtual Burt Marlander right ahead of him, because he's just nearly ploughed into the back of the safety car through turn number 8. The fake Irishman, the fake Venezuelan, whatever you like to call him, might have ended up being egg on your face and a bit like Pastor Maldonado there, to be honest, under the safety car. Very close to the back. Goodness me. Hot in mouth. Apologies about the lag, by the way. I did minimise Discord. It caused everything to try and crash. Back, though, now. Joe Murphy still leading the way. Ogween in second. Simbarox there currently in third position. Danny Van Ruiten is going to try and maybe put Joe Murphy potentially under the bus, because he's just said in the chat, is AI allowed to loop? So, Joe Murphy, not sure if he's been doing an AI. I haven't been running on board with them to confirm it on the stream, but All Green there in second, clearly feeling, and Team Jazoo clearly feeling, he is using AI right now.
Well, BRT at the moment are actually just in the chat, absolutely lolling away at the moment in the chat, because some good memes. Oh, safety car coming at the end of this lap. I'll try and wrap this one up quickly using the chase meme, where you've got the beast saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter, well played, guys." So BRT clearly think this race is over for them.
Clearly thinks this race is over, but the beauty of Formula 1 is anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does, as Joe Murphy absolutely flies now to the left-hand side through 18 and 19 on the run to the line, and we get back underway on lap 10 out of 31 here in Singapore. Rens Thomason already heaving on the back of the Frenchman, the BRT Thomas, and Luke Rapacta also through on Flopman as well, further down the field. Flopman under pressure there. Now Rens Thomason on the outside line, surely not in towards turn number 4 and 5. He thinks better of it, going around now the outside, now for the inside line through the kink, maybe down in towards turn 7 at Memorial Corner. Thomas is shutting the door on him though, and he's been told to shut the door there for BRT. Thomas there still in 4th, Rens Thomason there in 5th, Rian there in 6th as Jeslot is through on Flopman. Flopman is struggling. Has he got damage on his car? Oh, 3 wide, and there's a double tap. Oh, there's somebody in the wall, and that's Fetty. Fetty in the wall hard, and that's a safety car again. Flopman has definitely got damage from somewhere. If he hasn't, it'll be very, very strange. There is a yellow flag, obviously, for that safety car. But Flopman,
what's happening with Flopman?
Flopman's an absolute menace. He's overtaking everyone.
Yeah, he's just done 4 overtakes on people under the safety car. I'm not sure if the safety car has given him the positions up, but he's popped it into neutral now, back into first gear. So has the game allowed him to hold on to P9, and there's the safety car come out a different time versus him. That's very unusual. Yep. I've never seen that before in that scenario, if that is the case. But either way, Flopman now back up to 9th place. Sure, that will definitely be investigated after the race. Rayan in 6th place, then holding off from Rens Thomason. And now suddenly, you could potentially argue that this may just allow an opportunity for the hard tyre runners in 1st through 4th to come into the pit lane and change their tyres, but they're electing not to do so. So they will stay out, and Thomas, once again, will be told to defend from Rens Thomason in the for the rest of this race as much as he possibly can to try and get Joe Murphy at least some kind of a gap.
Yeah, dirt confused why Flopman overtook 2 people under the safety car. He looked like he had a pedal issue. That's what was going on with Flopman, not with damage. He had, though, pedal issues out on track, so maybe the braking, maybe the throttle not going correctly in. It has been known on F1 24 for that to happen. It normally happens on these games, so it is unfortunate for Flopman. He's down there in P9. Obviously, his felt, though, he must have had no illegal overtakes on Enzo and Casper Flack. He must have had illegal overtakes on them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got those positions back. And Enzo and Casper Flack had to give back positions, even if they did. But Joe Murphy leading the way, and Flopman's in the wall. Flopman is in the wall, coming through the right-hand return of right. He's right down at the bottom end of the field. If he had issues now, if he had issues before, he's got issues now because he's got no foot wing.
Oh, that was poor. That was poor. Of all things to do, crashing under the safety car is just weak and feeble, isn't it? Like, that's just so poor. And I think Flopman will just try and figure out exactly what's going on. It may be a pedal issue again. We did mention there may be some pedal issues. And if that is the situation, hard done by if it is a hardware issue. So he'll have to come into the pit lane, change the front wing, but an opportunity maybe to switch over to medium to. Oh, he's off again. Yeah, look, I think he's definitely having some major hardware issues, and perhaps his pedal's completely disconnected, and that's what's led him actually into the wall. He's having some major throttle issues, and that is so disappointing for TTM, who may just have to retire their fastest driver of the 2. No disrespect to Enzo, but look at that again, just can't get his foot on the pedal, and that might just be it for TTM's opportunity to maintain their lead in the championship. What a shame.
It's really strange because obviously the safety car is going to start another lap, so he has got another lap to try and fix things, which is good. But from Flopman's perspective, there's nothing really you can do but come in the pit lane and retire the car, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's into the pit lane right now. That throttle input is not at 100%. throws it into the pit lane. It's surely got to be retirement from Flopman. He's down at the back end of the field. The good thing is, with him being down at the back end of the field, he can try and fix what issue he's got. He's got no front wing, obviously. That left side completely off on his front wing. He goes on to a set of medium compound tyres, but seemingly he is going to carry on. He feels in himself he is happy to try and continue on. He's told his engineer this. He's told everyone behind the scenes at TTM this as well. But we are going to watch him very closely because I am certain that is not full 100% throttle input that he is getting on that throttle right now.
He's not. No, you can see it. He's struggling to get anywhere somewhere between 50 and 60% of his usual throttle inputs. He now comes through the air. We'll see what it's like here as we've got Nath in classic circumstances, suggesting, look at that, yeah. Straight away, I can see he's got 100%. Has he got 100% of his throttle, I wonder? We'll go through here. Remember, there is a rule out there at the moment, as Nath is very much trying to make note of here, that you cannot slow down significantly to keep the safety car out. So we'll see if Flopman does slow down on purpose or if he continues to have those throttle mapping issues. But he is going through the track as he usually would at the moment. But as it stands so far, plenty of people having some difficulty here as to understand exactly what's going on. They're suggesting Flopman definitely had some issues. It was looked like he was going to retire the car, but they've changed the front wing, put a set of mediums on, and he's going to continue out there. We'll see if he joins at the back of the queue. Looks like he will do so just in time before any kind of report comes out.
It's really strange. I'm watching his throttle input, and he was fine through the first sector. It's the middle and the final sector where he's having the issue. He's barely getting the throttle down to maybe 80% coming down the straight here, in toward the right-hander now at turn number 14. It's really, really strange. We want to watch this from our perspective because obviously he is going to slow down and release the safety car. He does want to try and get that safety car out, and the safety car is not going to come in this lap around. So Flopman is rejoining on the back. He might be in trouble, but there is only so much I think he can do to try and fix an issue that is at the minute unfixable, it seems, from Flopman. He's coming back into the pit lane. Is he now going to finally retire the car into the pit lane? He has tried it is absolute utmost to try, but Flopman is into the pit lane. Unless he retires in his box, I cannot see this being a retirement out on track. It's for a set of compound tyres, and Flopman there down in 18th position.
Oh dear.
From our perspective in the commentary box, there is only so much you can bend the rules, and is this bending the rules a little bit too far? That's not for us to decide, it's for the stewards.
It's not bending the rule at all. He broke it. I mean, that's just the simplicity of the sake. So, obviously, people are going absolutely nuts at the moment. I say by people, I mean just Nath, because Nath is Nath from Novus Racing. But Flopman, yeah, I'm sorry. Your TTM are in trouble for this because you can't slow down on purpose to maintain a safety car period and effectively manipulate the race to go back in your favour. You've had to switch to a set of mediums. He's then come in, gone back onto the same set of hards, and he's now going to go around there. And what they will claim is that there was definitely throttle mapping issues.
He's
that's the reason why he ended up having the collision.
It's through turn 7. It's through turn 7. Sorry to cut you off. It's through turn 7 where he's getting the issues out on track. First sector, he was absolutely fine. And now he's barely getting about 80-90% when he's flat to the floor in terms of his throttle input right now. Whether or not you can argue that out on track is a different thing, but the safety car is in this lap. Virtual Burt Malander has had it with Flopman. He's now going to come in the pit lane. Joe Murphy's now going to get us back underway. Lap 13 out of 31, about to go on to lap 14. Joe Murphy leading the way, Ogwin in second, Simbarox in third. Please let us know what you think about that, what happened with Flopman. From our perspective, we can only do so much on our end from the stream to try and broadcast some of the issues that he might be having. He clearly has issues. He may as well just come in and retire the car. But TTM are probably thinking, 3 more retirements, we're in the point. So maybe they can try and get something out of this race. So that might be the strategy as Joe Murphy now goes in through the left-hander 17, through 18. Was that a bit of carbon fibre being picked up in the background? Somebody nearly went into the back of somebody. I think it might have been Jez line to the back of Luca Pazza. Maybe down in towards turn number 1, just trying to see. There was a bit of carbon fibre that flew off on somebody's car. I'm not sure who. Joe Murphy leads the way. Ogween in second. Simperbox there in third. Rens Thomason on the outside line. And Thomas now to the inside line. Now through turn number 5. Well defends the car. Gavano gets a 3-second penalty. Flopman is dropping out the field. Gavano has spun as well in the back end as well. Rens Thomason on the back of Thomas to the inside line. In towards turn number 7. Leans him out to dry. And that's a beautiful move from Rens Thomason. One done. And now 3 to complete. Oh. Rayen goes around the outside on Thomas as well.
Oh dear, yeah, the hard tyres, they're not cooked. Obviously, they've been not a lot of racing on those old hard tyres, but in trying to defend Rens to try and help Joe Murphy, he's only gone and got himself a 3-second penalty and lost 2 positions as a result. So Thomas, I think, is now going to start falling down the standings just purely on his own mentality at the moment. BRT will defend this one with their lives here. This is a good chunk of points, 15 of them for the FRT team. So I would expect Simba is actually going to defend against Rens here. We'll see, though.
Aiden there in the chat, by the way, saying James once again showing has negative wheel knowledge. That's why I'm on a pad. That's as simple as that. Joe Murphy leading the way. Ogween there in second. Simperbox in third. Rens Thomason in fourth. I may add to that, by the way, I don't drive in this game as well. So that is my limited wheel knowledge to play as well. But there is an issue further down the field. Thomas has got a 3-second penalty, obviously. Jeslow right on the back of him. Coming now down the straight in towards turn 1. Force him toward the pit wall. To the inside line. Now goes Jeslow on the back of the Frenchman. The Frenchman hangs on and the kick Sauber there in 7. But it's all kicking up between Simperbox, Rayen, Rens Thomason, and this as well. Rens has got the move done on Simperbox, which we missed. Rayen though makes contact in the wall. He's actually recovered that somehow. He's not got damage. Enzo dropping down the field as well. He's now side by side with Jeslow as a result of this incident. Jeslow now under pressure from the back of Enzo. Gotta be tricky. Do not go for the move like Joe Murphy did in the sprint. Enzo now to the inside line. Through turn right. Nearly gets the car locked up on the back of Thomas. This is going to end in tears if they're not careful.
Yeah, the issue is now that there was a bit of a situation that occurred as a result of a little bit of lift off the acceleration pedal from Simba, and unfortunately Rens crashed into the back of him as Enzo getting really close to personal. No way!
What a move!
Fantastic racing from Enzo. Brilliant TTM, showing what they can do with their second driver out there at the moment and putting Jeslow under pressure up to 7th place. In that collision, though, there was a collision involving Simba and Rens Thomason as he went off the acceleration pedal, caught Rens napping, and into the back he went as they're still racing side by side between Jeslow and Enzo. Great stuff as he goes down the inside line.
Look at
Enzo will hold on, but here comes Gian looking for TRT and using overtake and gets that move done straight into none and up to 7th.
Oh, Gian, brilliant stuff. And the TRT man has just took candy from 2 babies right there. Enzo and Jeslow fought till their absolute heart's content for that move. And in the end, Gian, do you know what? He absolutely set that up from turn number 14, got the job done. Casper Flack tries to get in the mix as well. Brilliant racing out on track. Joe Murphy leading the way. Ogween in second, Rens Thomason in third. If you thought moves like that were not possible in Singapore, you have not lived a second of sim racing right now. Rayen on the back of Rens Thomason is definitely looking pretty tasty. This is the net race lead. Wow, Rens Thomason's got damage. Rens has got damage on the left side end plate, and Rayen has got the move done on the back of a stricken Rens Thomason. And Rayen is through now into the net lead. Joe Murphy currently leading. Ogween in second, Rayen in third. Somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier on. Rens Thomason there down in 4th position. He had damage earlier on. He was the one that went into the back, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of Thomas. And now Rens Thomason has got to go all of this race, maybe with that left side end plate damage.
Yeah, the thing is Rens also went into the back of Simba as well after the safety car period, because Simba lifted off the acceleration pedal, obviously not taking the corner as fast as the front runners, so that caught Rens napping, and that might have also given him additional damage as well. So not particularly good stuff for the ET8, man. It's allowing Joe Murphy to slowly pull away, despite the fact that he's now on old hard tyres, which of course he still needs to make a pit stop on. Ogween similarly. Rayen, on the other hand, is putting Ogween under some significant pressure, but catching curbs, obviously a lower setup as regards of the suspension, so that is allowing them to have that slipstream effect, but struggling on the curbs at the moment. There's plenty of people getting into some really strong battles out there.
And look at George Ansel beginning to make his way through the field. George Ansel fans rejoice in the chat because he is through, he's into 10 on that set of mediums. Those mediums are not going to get to the end of the race. If they do, I'd be very, very surprised. But those mediums, I don't think will get to the end of the race. So he's got to try and get through the pack with Fraser on this set of mediums right now. Enzo Luca on the back of Thomas, Luca on the back of Rens, and the two make contact in toward the left-hander there of turn number 7. Pretty much similar to what they had in PSGL in Qatar last week. Rens Thomas and Luca Rapata making contact. Fraser there. Thomas is in the wall. Thomas is out of the race. And a third safety car of the night. Joe Murphy leads. Ryan in second. You know who that's good for, though? Joe Murphy, Ogwee, and Rens Thomason with that damage.
Oh no, I can see here come the conspiracy theorists. We've got another Singapore crash where a teammate crashes and the teammate as a result gets a massive benefit from it. I already see a lot of controversy with TTM. Is BRT also going to be under the cosh as a result?
No,
Joe Murphy no doubt is going to pit at the end of this lap. He's got to get on a set of medium tyres. Will the hard tyre runners benefit from this? Maybe. Their hard tyres will definitely go the distance, but the medium tyre runners almost certainly will be able to go the distance as a result of this one, and they'll be significantly faster.
What's happened with George Ansell dropping down the field there as well? George Ansell having a slight issue there. No front wing for George Ansell. So George Ansell and Thomas, I think, made contact, which is what I was going to come on to. BRT conspiracy theories are gone because the Mercedes is into the pit lane. And Rens Thomason's got a 10-second penalty for collision with Ogwee, as is Gabor with Flopman. Not sure what's going on there, but there is keying into the pit lane for set of mediums. Everyone else on the set of mediums. Rens Thomason's going to make his way down the field now on this set of mediums. But in the end, this race is going to turn into absolute chaos. Luke Rapata, Enzo, Casper Flack are going to try and make it to the end of the race. They're the ones staying out right now. Most drivers have got on a set of mediums. If you Gabor right now, you've got on a set of old set of hard compound of tyres. And in fact, he's actually been double stacked, I think, right now, which is why he hasn't come in the pit lane. In fact, he's serving that 10-second penalty. So Gabor, serving that 10-second penalty, fresh set of mediums on. He serves his up. Rens Thomason doesn't, however, and he is right down there in 8th position. Yeah, he's still got that 10-second penalty. Luke Rapata, though, leading the way. Enzo in second. Casper Flack there in third. Can the hard runners fend off the mediums? Or can Joe Murphy win again in Singapore? Only time will tell.
Yeah, I've got plenty of time out there at the moment as well. We've just managed to cross over the halfway mark over the last couple of laps, by the way, folks. It's been a bit of a long race with the 3 safety cars that we have had, but as it stands so far, Joe Murphy obviously leading the way of those on the medium tyres. 3 people electing to extend their stint on the hards. Luca Rapazza, Team Shazoo, TTM Enzo, TTM, and ET8's Casper Flash, the ET8 driver in the Aston Martin, all electing to go the distance on the hards. So they're going to have to hold back some very quick medium tyre runners out there at the moment. I'm concerned more than anything at the moment on Rens Thomason, because that 10-second penalty that he got was absolutely not deserved. It was just a slight tap up the rear end, and that's why he hit me go up like that as they were going into the pit lane, because I knew what was coming, and the 10-second penalty I think will get rescinded. Technically within the rule book, he did have a collision under the safety car, which is a severe collision, but I don't think it's 10 seconds worthy in my opinion. So there will be a case for the ET8 man to have that 10-second removed, as long as he does not serve it.
Yeah, Luke, to be fair, has already said in the chat, Rens will get that removed. So it looks like Rens Thomason, no matter if he's got that 10-second penalty, take 10 seconds off where he is right now, and he's probably going to be in the lead of the race, as it stands, really, in terms of his penalty. But obviously, it all depends on how this race transcribes. There's still another 12 laps to go after this one. So buckle up, fasten your seatbelts. We're going to be in for one wild and wacky ride out on track there as well. Luke Rapazza leading the way, Enzo in second, Casper Flack there in third. Back to Pedalgate, as I'm calling it here tonight. Flopman there down in 14. Seems like everything is now working in terms of his pedals. So it just seems a little bit strange that he was catching underneath the safety car on at least two occasions, maybe even 3 occasions if I'm not mistaken. But Flopman is on the back of the safety car. So if he has got issues, there's no hiding place now.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no harm. I think he looked absolutely fine through turn 7 there. So clearly there's obviously some question marks about what's going on. And you can't obviously disprove anything where there may have been some kind of fault. But the bottom line is that the safety car was extended by that 1 lap. And I think there's definitely going to be plenty of arguments to be had between the managers about TTM in that scenario, which is a shame because they've had a really, really good race. It's just a shame that the situation with Flopman occurred. So hopefully this is not going to overarch the overall behaviour of TTM, because they've been absolutely fascinating to watch. Safety car coming at the end of this lap, and what will be an 11-lap dash to the end of this race. Everyone's tyres will go the distance. The question is, will the hard tyres be able to hold off from the rampant medium tyres as this race gets going? Luca Rapazza will lead from the front.
Yeah, I think you would expect the medium runners to try and come back through the field. It's Joe Murphy, it's Rayen I think you've got to watch out for now. In this second half of the race, on this set of medium compounder tyres, it has been a little bit of a stop-start over the last 10 laps or so, but hopefully now we can get some bloody good racing. Luca Rapazza now through the final couple of corners, now gets us back underway, and the current PSF1 champion in PSGL leads us across the line onto lap 20 out of 31. Enzel there in second, Casper Flack there in third, Joe Murphy biding his time there in fourth. The Venezuelans, we're calling them here tonight, there in fourth position on the back of Casper Flack. But you can already see it is night and day in terms of these tyres. Joe Murphy on the back of Casper Flack, on the back of Enzo. Would not be surprised if he goes for the move down Raffles Boulevard and into the Memorial Corner, at least one of them. He's now on the back of Casper Flack. He is on the back, though, of Enzo in turn. And in the end, Joe Murphy just bides his time, does not want to get the move done. Saying that, makes a little bit of sneaky contact there. Around the outside of turn number 8, not going to work. Maybe in toward the outside of turn number 9 could work. Or through the left hand of turn number 8, this is. Now through the left hand of turn number 9, but the curbs right so aggressively. Now Joe Murphy is under pressure from the man I said watch out for, Rayen.
Yeah, Rayan's putting under pressure here. Curiously, on my screen at the moment, we're still under the safety car, which I think is fascinating, to say the least. But nonetheless, anyway, Joe Murphy is still trying to race at the moment with Casper, and I'm not expecting any kind of issue at all with any kind of penalties as a result of racing under the safety car, because we're not under the safety car, my friends. Joe Murphy just keeping a very close lip at the moment on Casper. I don't think he's thinking about Rayen at the moment. He's been able to pull a bit of a gap on Rayen over the next few laps here, and he's going into a little bit of a harvest mode, actually, does Casper, the ET8 man, just holding on. But as it stands so far, the medium tyre runners have not managed to make any overtakes on this occasion. So 1 lap down, 10 to go, and the DRS is now enabled.
DRS is now enabled once again. Watch out for Renz Thomason. He's all over the back of Guillen as well. In the background, a shot as well. But Luke Rapazza leads the way. Enzo there in second. Casper Flack there in third. Joe at the minute seems fine on my end. Rayen, I think, is the one that might be lagging, which you might be seeing on your screens. Rayen, I think, might be the one that is lagging. It's been reported in Discord. Here comes Joe Murphy, though, on the back of Casper Flack. Rayen now on the back of Joe Murphy. Now he's going to look for the move, maybe on the kick Sauber to the outside line. In towards turn number 7. Joe Murphy again lunging it very late, like he did in the sprint. And now Rayen up the inside line in towards turn number 7. Tries to get the job done. Now into the left-handed turn right. They're in each other slightly. Rayen on the outside line. Joe Murphy has run away just about on the corner. There's a yellow flag. Simbarox is in the wall with an incident with Gavano, I think, further down. Ogween to the inside line. Ogween in the wall. Ogween in the wall. Trying to go for the move, and it's a VSC. VSC deployed out on track. Rayen could not do anything about that. He defended everything right. And in the end, Ogween's just gone for a move that is definitely not going to be his. The yellow car is coming out of the pit lane, which means we go to full course yellow and a safety car for the 4th time tonight. Luke Rapazza leads, Enzo in second, Casper Flack in third. Right now, at this moment in time, it's not great news if you're the top 3.
No, I'd try and argue the case that maybe, just maybe actually, that they'd rather have multiple safety cars here, because of course Luca, Enzo and Casper are still in the top 3, so, you know, in their position, they've not really raced on the hard tyres. The hard tyres will definitely go a distance, but the medium tyres will obviously last a little bit longer now as a result, so no discredit the top 3 at the moment. If the safety cars keep happening, which, let's be honest, with the quality of the driving out there at the moment, you'd suspect is probably going to be another one at this rate, with 8 laps to go at the end of this particular run. I'm just keeping an eye out at the moment down the midfield. Renz in 6th with that 10-second penalty, no doubt will get removed. Guillen in 7th from Jeslar Lafiti as well, actually. What a 9th place finish that would be, actually, for a team at the back at the moment who are really struggling at the moment are Eversio. We'll go with Eversio Racing at the moment. The project, obviously, for the Maltese team looking to try and get some big points, and 9th place is certainly something that they want. Simbarox 1 at the moment, scratching the final point as he did in the sprint race down in 15th. As it stands so far, though, if another one retires, everyone will be in the points.
Yeah, definitely so indeed. Joel's just put a really ridiculous comment there in the chat. I'm not reading that out on stream. Luke Raptor leads the way. Enzo in second. Casper Flack there in third. Simberbox and Gavano, by the way, did have that incident. That's why partly the safety car was deployed for. But of course, it was deployed for Ogween. Crashing in the wall. Ogween definitely not going to be happy. Team Shazoo definitely not going to be happy. Apparently, Luke Rapata is lagging, according to drivers on, or guys there in the comment section. He looks fine to me. As I say, it might just be slight intermittent lag issues, potentially. I know Gavano there, down at the back of the field, is currently out of lobby hole, so it might just be the case where there is just a little bit of intermittent lag within the servers. I know EAFC as well, I think shares the same, or similar same servers in terms of third party as what the F1 servers do. So might be that across the board, EA is just running a little bit slow tonight and everything is just hopefully not collapsing in front of our eyes, let's put it that way. Luke Rapata, though, leading the way. Enzo there in second. Casper Flack there currently in third position. But right here, right now, Luca leads the way. And the further we go with more safety car interventions, the better those hards could be toward the end of the race. Is this an advantage or a disadvantage right now for the front three? If I'm in the front three, I'm immediately thinking disadvantage because you've still got everyone behind you on a set of mediums.
Yeah, of course, but in this situation, the drivers have actually got plenty of opportunities to try and hold on. And if Casper, who defended quite well from Joe Murphy off in the first set of laps, of course, might actually be in a better position, considering as well, despite the fact that these medium tyres obviously are still quite new, they are still putting percentages into them at the moment, and they are actually putting a bit of wear into them. And, you know, the medium tyres are not going to be at their best regardless, especially when they keep swinging left and right to try and keep them warm. So, you know, at the moment, still advantage medium tyre runner, but as this gets to lap 7, lap 8, I would say the medium tyres aren't going to be at their best. So let's see what the rest have got in mind. At the moment, advantage still very much Joe Murphy and Rayen, but Joe Murphy has got to keep his mindset in check, hasn't he? A couple of opportunities where he's looked for a move that isn't quite there and offered Rayen an opportunity to take the position out of his hands. This exactly the same thing happened against Renz in the sprint race. I don't think Joe Murphy's learned. He's still the favourite for this race, but I certainly think he's going to be under the cosh.
Yeah, it is going to be rather intriguing. The final 8 laps of this race that will begin on towards lap 24. Everyone, I'm glad to report, is now under the safety car. And we will be going back racing this lap time around. And speaking of which, safety car comes in this lap. Now coming to the right-hand return, number 14 once again. Luke Rapata is now the virtual Burt Malander. He is the virtual safety car. He once led a race around here, I believe, in Singapore underneath the safety car. Guess what happened? He ended up further down the field. So Luca will definitely be looking to try and hold off on the back of Enzo, on the back of Casper Flack. Right now, it is beautiful result for ET8. So if Casper Flack can stay in there in P3, he will definitely be getting ET8 some big points. He just nearly ran out wide there, coming to the left-hander, the 17. Luke Roberto, though, gets us back underway. We're back on the green flag racing once again. Hopefully it's the last time we're in the safety car, but Enzo gets a phenomenal run through the final corner, right on the back of Luca. Luca, though, holds on for the lead. Enzo in second, Casper Flack in third. Back on the green flag racing. And if you're Joe Murphy, you want to try and get the elbows out. You want to try and get the moves done now. And speaking of which, he goes to the outside line, in towards turn number 5, in towards Raffles Boulevard, all the way around the outside. Nearly put in the wall. Casper Flack catches the curve. There's wall damage. There's somebody else in the wall. It's Rayen in the wall. Rayen is out of the race. I don't think we're going to get a safety car, however, for that. Ian to the inside line now on Casper Flack. And then Jesler nearly into the back. This is a very hectic race here in WOR Legacy Division tonight. Luca leads the way. Enzo in second, Joe Murphy in third for a big contender for the race win. Rayen is out of the race and there's no safety car deployed. TF10 have got every single amount to be annoyed with that.
I think we're absolutely at the limit of the amount of safety cars that we can have in one single race here, so it doesn't surprise me the game has just said get on with it. As it stands so far, though, yeah, that is disappointing for TF10. They had a really good race. Murphy. Here comes Joe Murphy looking down the inside line. 2 yellow flags at the moment, I believe, for Ren, who's now down in 15th place. Joe Murphy goes for the dive bomb, and a great move indeed. Second place, now looking to try and challenge the Shazoo man of Luca Rapazza, who's obviously trying to earn as many points as he can versus TTM, who are currently in 3rd and 8th, respectively.
It's a war of attrition out on track. It is not a demolition derby. Well, you can technically class it as that, but it is war of attrition out on track. Lap 25 out of 31. Luca Rapata leads the way, but the specialist around here, the Singapore specialist, Joe Murphy, running behind there in second. His nearest rival has gone out of the race, I would say. Rayen is out, Rent is out, Quantum's back in the pit lane as well, further down the field. I think his AI is just actually pitting them in further down the field. But Joe Murphy, right, hassling the back of Luca Rapata. This is game over for Luca. Surely Joe Murphy easily overtakes down Raffles Boulevard into Memorial Corner at turn 7. Job done for him. Jeslar to the inside line, and Casper Flack nearly gets caught into the wall there. Does the McLaren. He's still side by side though with Casper Flack into the left-hander turn number 8, the right-hander of turn number 7. But in the end, Jeslar gets out on top, gets the move done, and Flopman is getting into this race. Out of all questions, he's somebody's into 7th. Flopman is carving his way through the field.
Yeah, at the moment as well, the medium tyre runners obviously gaining big time here. The midfield runners have earned big time as a result of all these safety cars. As it stands so far, if we take out all the hard tyre runners, as it stands, TRT are going to earn big time with a 2nd place. CPI are going to get a 3rd place in the Cedar Phoenix Igniters for their first podium of the season. And a mistake from Guillen, though, as I was saying that. So now as it stands, the Cedar Phoenix Igniters are going to get 2nd place. And it might be TTM who might get 3rd if he can defend this one. And if a mistake occurs here, who benefits? Another midfield runner in Aversio Racing. Fantastic.
And Fraser and Gabor not entirely out of this either. Gabor's had an absolute wretched race for MVR. All of the teams that have had bad races are beginning to come into the race. Albeit George Ansel there losing the position to Gavano. George Ansel's going to be picking up 2 nights in a row points, which is very, very good for him. Joe Murphy leading the way. Luke Rapata in 2nd, Enzo in 3rd. I think this race is done. I think Joe Murphy's away here. He has gone 1.4 seconds up the road. Luke Rapata there in 2nd. Has got to try and hold on to Enzo. Hold on from the likes of Jeslar and Guillen coming in behind. He's got track and he's got corners on his side. Casper Flack, though, nearly wide coming through turn number 7. Now in toward the right-hander of turn number 8. Then in toward the left of turn number 9. Guillen right on the back of Casper Flack. Even to try and get the move done. But remember, these mediums will fall off before the end of the race. So these guys on the set of hards are not entirely out of it as Casper Flack picks up a 3-second.
Yeah, no, that's quite clearly a track extension from Casper Flack, and that might just be it for him because, of course, everyone else around actually has done a really good job in maintaining their situations. And just FYI, by the way, while this is all happening, plenty of people at the back going on to soft tyres. We've got Quantum, Gavano and Renz who have all decided to go to soft, but they are massively behind now, 26, 20 seconds behind respectively. Guillen trying to keep on the back of Casper, but Casper doing quite well at the moment on these old hard tyres and defending. Jeslar trying to keep up close with Enzo at the moment, and hopefully might be an opportunity for a potential podium position for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters.
BRT, though, are in the hot seat. They've had one driver out of the way for Thomas, causing that safety car earlier on. And now Joe Murphy is looking pretty darn good out on track. 2.4 seconds, another second gain over the course of the last lap. Luke Rapata and Enzo, 2nd and 3rd. Jesdal, though, beginning to hunt them down. Is the CPR one going to get the move done? More immediately, Guillen on the back of Casper Flack. Is the Ferrari going to get the move done on the Aston? To the outside line in towards turn number 7. Casper Flack nearly locks up very late into the brakes. And Guillen cannot find a way through. So Gian, or Gianluca as we call him in TRT, he's there down in P6. Casper Flack there in P5. Joe Murphy, though, was away and gone. It's just a case of who's going to be on the podium with him.
Yeah, and that's the question is, will the medium tyres also go the distance as well? I'm not saying that there's puncture territory, it'll be far from that. What I'm concerned about is whether the medium tyres will actually keep up with the pace, because of course, they've had to put a lot of load into them under the safety car to keep them warm here as Flopman gets the move done on Guillen, so that puts TTM in prime position here for potential third place finish. Looking to go for the move, and Guillen obviously gives up the position. I think it's the right thing to do on this one. TRT are on for big points tonight. Don't lose that opportunity. The Everseo Racing also an opportunity through Lafiti as well, and Novus, after all of that horrible race weekend, on for some points as well, as people losing the left, right and centre, as the medium tyres are now screaming, calm down, I can't go the distance if you keep putting too much load in me.
Jeslar's at the minute is really on the back of Enzo. We need to try and get the move done though. His mediums compared to everyone else on the same compound attire is looking pretty good right now. Jeslar on the back of Enzo, on the back of Luke Rapata. second, third, and fourth about to go out on track. A lot of animosity there in the Discord I see from Team TF10. By all rights, they should be absolutely annoyed, even peed off, I think, at this stage, as Jezlol looks into the line of Enzo, can't find the way through. Fraser, though, in the meantime, on the back of Gabor, going side by side in towards turns 7 and 8, and Gabor hangs on to the position from Fraser. Fraser there in P10, Timberrocks there in P11, and Gavano, his soft compound tires are dropping off the cliff as well. Joe Murphy, though, leading the way, another second gain, another second and a half gain of the last lap and a half. Renz is into the pit lane, retires the car. Disappointing for Renz. Because it's past 75% race distance, he might still get the points.
Might get the point. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that as well. It's a good point for Renz, actually, as well, because I think it's a little bit of a sorry point, to be honest with you, for him. Because he was really in there as well. Flopman getting in there as well, going side by side with Casper Flash. It's so important that he gets this move done, and it's no surprise he's using overtake and some of his electrical energy just to get the move done. Up to 4th place. Now he'll try to chase Jezlar down. Jezlar is still stuck behind the 2 hard tyre runners. This is what I mentioned earlier about the hard tyre runners. I still think they've got life in those tyres, and I still think they'll be able to battle with the medium tyre runners, and that is exactly what I thought would happen. Luca is holding on here, and these are big points for Team Shazoo. Remember, they are in that battle with TTM.
I thought Joe Murphy was slowing down, and then I realised Renz Thomason's AI is going to be in the way. Please watch out, guys, because it's like PSGL last night. You might hit him. Oh, and he has ghosted, luckily. Casper Flack there, under pressure now from Gian. Gian now to the outside line, in towards turn number 7, all the way around the outside. Beautiful move by Gian to the inside line. The Italian gets the move done. He's thrown these into 5th, into 6th even. The Ferrari and the Tifosi will be happy with that one.
Yeah, perfect move around the outside as well. I was thinking, is that going to be a bit opportunistic? But the car just had the grip around the outside and absolute perfection. Flopman still on the back of Jezlar here. Jezlar still can't make any moves at the moment on Enzo, and that is allowing TTM to work together as a team. Remember, they've definitely got an investigation against them after that potential safety car infringement involving Flopman. We will see. But at the moment, as it stands, the damage limitation from Luca Rapazza is absolutely paramount for Team Shazoo rather, as TTM try their hardest. I am under a lot of pressure here. Give me a break. 2 laps to go.
And it could be Hazard for Gabor to the inside line on the back of the Fission. Joe Murphy leading the way. Luke Rapazza in 2nd. Enzo there in 3rd. I sincerely apologise, by the way, if you are now just tuning in. We should be back. And my stream decided, and my OBS decided to kick off. But we are back, and crucially, it's back with 1.5 laps to go.
Oh, thank God that you've just joined back on this one, James, because Flopman and Jezlar have been racing really hard, but Flopman has now got that move done. Now, here's a question for you. Does Enzo give the position up to Flopman so then he can challenge potentially Luca Rapazza, put Rapazza under pressure so then Enzo can overtake him, I wonder? TTM have got an opportunity, but it's only 1 lap to go. Maybe they haven't got enough time.
Maybe they haven't got enough time indeed. Luke Rapazza and Enzo beginning now to defend. Whether or not Enzo lets Flopman through and Flopman gets a crack at Luke Rapazza, like he did in PSGL around here, remains to be seen. Joe Murphy leading the way. I will keep an eye on the stream on the right-hand side of me. Joe Murphy leading the way. Luke Rapazza in 2nd. Enzo there in 3rd. Enzo, I think, is going to be given a crack here at Luke Rapazza for the podium. Gonna look maybe down Raffles Boulevard, but that slipstream is not effective. Now it's kicking in. Now he begins to come, and Enzo on the outside line tries to get the move done. Luke Rapazza though defends, gets caught on the curb, and Enzo gets the switch back. Enzo nearly going into the side of him, and now through turn number 8, Enzo's nearly in the wall. Luke Rapazza nearly follows him there as well, and Enzo's through. Flopman now to the inside line on Luke Rapazza, and now the the Frenchmen are side by side. TTM get the box in toward the Singapore Sling. Luke Rapazza fights outside of the box. Flopman nearly in the wall, nearly pushed the outside line and across the Anderson Bridge. That's him disposed of. Enzo Thuni's into 2nd. Luke Rapazza in 3rd. Jezzel's nearly got into the
great move from Jezzel.
Beautiful move though in the end. Just about finds that move done. Gian and Casper Flack and Gabor right in behind as well. Flopman to the outside line. He got blocking up. He's in the wall. Flopman is out of the race. Huge crash in the wall. Joe Murphy now leading the way, and he's about to secure the race win. Enzo will be 2nd. Luke Rapazza will be 3rd. Joe Murphy now through through the final couple of corners. BRT masterclass from Joe Murphy to the line, takes the race win in Singapore. Enzo to the line, will finish there in second. The box work from his perspective. Luke Rapazza there in third will be pleased with his podium. And in the end, it's an absolute who's who in behind. Jeslar, Guillen, Lafitte, Fraser, Simbarox, Casper Black and Gabor rounding off the top 10. Joe Murphy takes the race win. Enzo in second, Luke Rapazza in third. But in the end, Flopman, those weren't pedal problems. That was a skill issue.
Yeah, Flopman flopped out of that race. He was just not going to hold on around the outside line. Goes for the late breaker and into the wall you go, sir. See you later. That, in that scenario, though, means Team Shazoo, I believe, if I'm right in saying, have managed to defend a potential serious attack from TTM as a result of that one, thanks to the effort of Luca Rapazza. I did say those hard tyres would do well. I told you, and they have done a magnificent job to hold on for the podium. In that scenario, though, it is all going to be about that man, that woman, that Venezuelan, that British man. He has done such a cracking job in the end to take that top step of the podium. Joe Murphy well deserves it, and BRT take maximum points. Fantastic.
And in the end, Joe Murphy backed up what he did a couple of seasons ago around here in Legacy Division, and he takes the race win. Never seen Joe Murphy fist pump as much, even though if he is, his character is a woman, out on track there at the podium celebrations. But we will run through the grid order because we have to skip it, otherwise it'll be a black screen. Joe Murphy takes the race win from Enzo there in second, Luke Rapazza there in third, then it's Jeslar in fourth, Guillen there in fifth, Lafitte there in sixth, then it's Fraser, Simbarox, Casper Black, Gabor top 10. I need a voice. Gavano there in 11th. George Ansel picking up points there for EVE in 12th. Then Quantum in 13th. Flopman 14th. Will get counted, I think, as the points with him being on the final lap of the race. I think Renz will be the same as well. He also gets a fastest lap point potentially as well. Rayen in 16th. Then Ogween, Thomas, Fetty and Rain all out of the race at various stages from the race out on track. My God. How on earth do we dissect that and begin to dissect that? Because that was just pure and utter carnage.
You know what? The foreshadowing I love so much of the lap 5, lap 6 question or quote that you said, which was, oh, they were all really behaving themselves out there. They didn't in the end at all. And it was an absolute mess. And I think there's going to be a lot of learnings to take from a lot of teams. And I think the stewards are going to have a big headache as a result of that race. And the worst thing is, we've still got another 20 races to go. We're in Bahrain next week. So a little bit more wider and perhaps a little bit more competitive, we think, in that particular race. Fantastic, though. Great stuff.
Fantastic racing indeed from few out on track. Most overshadowed, I think, with the unclean and the uncleanliness, I think, obviously going on in the chat right now. Obviously going on in Discord right now as well. Definitely going to be something to look at in terms of the stewards. But sprint racing is done, at least for the first quarter even of the season. But we remain in the Middle East for the next 3 rounds of the championship. We go to Bahrain for round 4, which is, funny enough, the PSGL season finale track next season for season 38. Bahrain for round 4, then it's Qatar, and then Saudi Arabia for rounds 5 and 6 of the championship out on track. I've got the wrong standings up, and looking at the game in terms of the points, all provisional right now. TTM, 128 points. Team Shazoo in second on 109, BRT in third on 105. So TTM have not only held on to their lead, they've extended it, barring, of course, any steward reports.
Yeah, they've extended it by 6 points post sprint race. So they were 13 points in front of Shazoo. It's now 19. It would have been significantly more if it weren't for Flopman flopping out of that race. I keep using that pun, and we're using the word Flopman in this particular racing sphere is just offering so many puns. In that scenario, though, unfortunately for him, it means that TTM, although they have extended their lead, it's not by much. So 23 points separating BRT from TTM in the top 3, but a bit of a gap now starting to form. So we're starting to see perhaps what the top 3 teams are going to be in TTM, Shazoo and BRT. CPI in 4th place. No surprises for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters in 4th place on 76. Then it's TRT on 60 with Novus Racing on 57. TF10 just behind on 56. ET8, a team that you really thought would not be in this position, are in 8th at the moment on 36. EVE, Aversio, with a cracking 6th place finish in that race, actually, in 9th place, thanks to Lafiti, and 10th place, FRT, once again, still in the teens with 17 points. As you said, very much, very, very provisional, this race results, that's for certain.
To be fair, I did say to Gareth, in terms of console tier 1, expect to see about 12, 13 incidents. They only got 2. Not sure how many we're going to get in Legacy Division tonight, with it being at the start of the season, with, of course, being the sprint and the feature race. There is going to be a hell of a lot to dissect, of course, going into next week in Bahrain. As you can appreciate, my voice is going, and also Joss's is going, so I think we're going to give ourselves a little bit of break and end it off here. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk you through the action, of course, out on track. And in the end, if you did enjoy it, somehow, if you enjoyed that race, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. Apologies about my reconnection for OBS. Apparently, we haven't dropped a frame. Weird. Really strange going on there, but hopefully it'll be fixed for next week. And then we'll be back according to plan in Bahrain, round number 4. But before then, of course, we've got the console tier 1 finale. 3 men fighting it out. Furious, Cameron Dowd, and also TTM Flopman. We have used Flopman quite a lot on this stream, so he is in that championship fight for console tier 1. If you do want to tune in for that, it is going to be at 8 PM UK time. Not sure if it's going to be on commentary. I think it'll be Gareth and Ross, so it means I might get the night off. I might be covering console tier 2, though, however, as well. But you never know how the things go on. But BRT rampant with Joe Murphy. Whether or not they can continue that up going into round 4 of the season in Bahrain remains to be seen. Folks, we're going to end it off here, right now. Thank you so much for watching. Final word from our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder. Until next week, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.